you are now in the arena. Welcome to Gridiron, sorry, I'm confused today. You're now in the arena. Welcome to Gridiron, presented by Underdog. Woo!
Whoa, whoa.
It is a Friday, and today on the couch we have one of the most prolific figures in the history of sports media, and the man who's never lost a debate, Skip Bayless.
Skip.
Top 5 passer in the history of the UC Trojans, and our quarterback, Cody Kessler.
Yeah.
4-time Pro Bowler, and the man who you want having your back at all times, Richie Incognito.
Let's go.
And I want to welcome back to the couch, we have 3-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl winning safety, TJ Ward.
Let's go, baby.
Woo! So, wait a second. You're repping your Ducks.
Yeah.
And your Ducks are playing host to his Trojans this Saturday, and I think I'm going to ride with the Ducks.
Skip.
I'm riding with the Ducks.
I'm just trying to figure out who let him in with the ugly
yellow
over there.
Ugly.
I wish I would have known. I would have worn my
Hey,
Trojan
man,
hat.
you got to always rep. That's you different between us Ducks and you Trojans.
Yeah,
we always rep.
There's no loyalty here. I thought Skip would have your back.
I know. Well, I'm switching. This is the first time I've been face-to-face with Skip on the opposite side, and he's already switching up on me.
I have a new teammate.
And we ain't losing, Skip. Tell him.
Here we go.
I want to talk about your Bills last night because you had them in the Super Bowl.
I did. We're about to get into it in a second, but I did. For the record, preseason picks, I had the Bills winning the Super Bowl. I'm not fully out yet. It's been a roller coaster for me. One week I'm like, all right, we're back.
It's been a roller coaster.
The Chiefs. The following week we're back down. It's been up and down. But yeah, they got to figure some things out.
I want to take some time and shout out my boy. I got my boy back here, Deion Dawkins. It was a rough outing last night. We know that, but this is my guy.
Oh.
He is the blindside protector of the reigning MVP. He has a lot to do with that. And the reason I got him back here is because he advocated for the Offensive Lineman of the Year, the Protector of the Year, an award that's going to go to the best offensive lineman after the 2025 season. So Deion's doing good work out there, promoting the offensive line life. Got to give a shout out to my boy Deion. He's going to be here with us in the arena.
Okay. And by the way, before you go, another shout out goes to your show, your podcast called Safety First, right?
Absolutely. Safety First show on
Check
all
it out.
platforms. Make sure you check it out, man. I'm trying to come up in Skip's footsteps. So check it out, man. You might hate me, you might love me, but watch regardless.
Here we go.
Entertaining regardless.
All right.
As always, you guys, this show is presented by Underdog, and if you are new to Underdog, today is the day. Get $100 in bonus entries when you play just $5 with code GRID. So if you win or lose, Underdog is available in most states, including Florida, California, Texas. So go support the show, claim your bonus, start playing today with code GRID. So, Joe Burrow is back to full partake on the Eagles.
Here we
the
go.
Bucs are facing the Rams. Kansas City facing the Colts. We just have so much to talk about, man. I love football. But first, we need to get into last night's game because Texas defense absolutely wrecked Josh Allen and your man Deion Dawkins.
Yeah, it was a rough night.
They were getting
That was
absolutely wrecked.
Yep.
But 5 days after Josh Allen put up 6 touchdowns,
Wow.
very impressive. Now he had a career high 8 sacks. He took 8 sacks and 0 touchdowns. So, Skip, how much was Josh Allen to blame for the Bills last night?
Look, Josh Allen deserves the majority of the blame for perfectly justifiable reasons because no NFL team is more dependent, more reliant on one single player than the Bills are on Josh Allen.
Yep.
And I understand your Super Bowl pick because he is Superman, but he's still mortal. And last night we saw some mortality kick back in because he is Bills. He's all they have, and it's Josh or bust, and it finally busted because if you take Josh Allen on a short week and you send him to Houston to play Thursday night football against the team that leads the NFL in allowing points per game, and you send him there without Dalton Kincaid or Keon Coleman or Curtis Samuel or even Mecole Hardman. He's down 4 targets. What do you think's going to happen? Well, he's going to hold the ball a little too long. He's going to try to make a hero play. He's going to try to make a viral play.
Yep.
He's going to get sacked a career high 8 times, and he's going to throw 2 interceptions, the second of which, the game ender, was just horrible because it looks to me, and I'll wait for your breakdown here, but But it looks to me like Dawson Knox on his little out route just breaks wide open, like, Josh, there.
Yes.
Oh, that.
Okay, just there. They're stuck. He's wide open. And Josh, after he's been sacked 8 times, he's fallen backwards. But why was it 4th and 6? Because of your man, Deion Dawkins, did something I never thought I would see. He was getting so gun shy, he false started on what was going to be 4th and 1.
He was trying to get out there, block those boys.
Trying to get out there because they're coming from both sides. They're coming 1,000 miles an hour. So now it's 4th and 6. And then let me move it back about 4 plays to a play from the 26-yard line with 41 seconds left. Josh Allen drops a dime on Gabe Davis. Just dropped a dime at the corner of the end zone.
Over Stingley.
And over Stingley. And it's as sweet a throw as you will ever see. It's a game-winning throw. And Gabe Davis, who's only playing his 2nd game of the year so far, he catches the football, and he's just not in rhythm and in sync, and he can't get the two. He really didn't get any feet down, but he didn't get feet down in end zone. It was a play that if he catches it and pulls it off, Josh Allen vaults back into the MVP conversation, I think, off one throw, and they win the game. So if we look at the grand total here, he did throw 2 interceptions. He did take way too many sacks, hold the ball too long. He did have a QBR of only 26, which is pretty horrible by his standards. He did go from, as you say, he went from 3 and 3 touchdowns to 0 touchdowns. So in the end, it was ultimately his fault in a game that the Bills almost won only because of Josh Allen. That's what happened to me. You
Right.
want to?
Well, I'll make the case that it's not on all Josh Allen. I think when you look at the receiver room, they're down a bunch of guys. They're missing Keon Coleman for disciplinary reasons.
Yeah.
You listed Curtis Samuel, Mecole Hardman.
And Kincaid is his security blanket.
And Kincaid, that's it. That's his guy,
the big
right?
one.
Yeah.
So I think the whole supporting cast around Josh crumbled last night. The offensive line didn't play up to the standard. That was really rough to watch my boys go out there and get their butts kicked like that. Houston's pass rush is next level, and they have guys that come off that edge. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, those guys are some killers, and they were feasting last night. But I kind of look back in defensive Josh Allen and games where they haven't played well and the offense is kind of evaporated. It comes down to who he's throwing the ball to.
Yeah.
He's got Khalil Shakir, who's his number 1 receiver, who's a great slot receiver, but you have to be creative in the way they get him the ball. He doesn't have a true alpha on the outside.
He doesn't.
And another, talking about a team loss more than Josh Allen, tackling. Tackling on defense has come up. It's stung them. Tampa Bay Bucs put 200 rushing yards on them the week before, and then they come into this game and needing to get some stops, and Woody Marks is just grinding them out. There's 2 and 3 tacklers there, and he's just grinding out those yards. So I won't want to put this all on Josh Allen. I want to put it on the supporting cast in that receiver room, and then the defense. The defense needs to step up and play a lot better. They almost got it done, but it just wasn't enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought the defense played well enough in this game to win, as opposed to what we've seen all season long. They held the Texans only 261 total yards. Could have been more, I'll give you that. Davis Mills missed some wide open throws and some walk-in touchdowns. But again, it's Davis Mills, a backup coming in, doing enough to get the job done. But they held him to 2 of 12 on 3rd down. That's winning football. If you can do that when you have Superman at quarterback, you give your offense a chance to win games. But talking about Superman, I think that's the biggest thing with Josh Allen, and I say it all the time, is knowing when to be Superman and knowing when to be Clark Kent, knowing when to just make the pedestrian play. That's okay. You don't always have to be a hero. You have to make the right play. But to your point, Skip, and you said it very well, is he has to be Superman every single play. That he has no other option. But in this game, those 2 interceptions for me, that really was a difference maker. The first one, you have Elijah Moore in the slot. We're targeting Elijah Moore because of injuries. I understand that. But you have him in the slot running a deep curl route. You have the flat zone defender and you have the hook defender, both drop 10 yards underneath. What do? As a young quarterback off a play action you're taught, as soon as those 2 defenders drop out, take a profit. Hit James Cook in the flat, let him get 10 yards, get a first down. That, to me, is tough to defend, saying you're trying to be Superman. That's just a simple play where you go 1 to 2. If it's not there, find your back, move on. The second interception, and that was and exactly what you said, Skip, just get the ball to Dawson Knox. They have double crossers underneath, and then you have a deep cross by Palmer on the backside. The Texans played it perfectly, too. If you watch the film on the All-22, Stingley passed it off to Kalen Bullock perfectly. But if I'm pre-snap on that play, I see Bullock already outside of Palmer.
Yep.
He's playing down tight.
Yep.
I watched Bullock at USC too. He is phenomenal. That's where he excels, is that middle field safety, reading your eyes, reacting, making a play on the football. He's one of the best in the NFL right now, and I watched him do it for a couple years at USC. But don't try to force that. I don't need you to go 20 yards down the field. Dawson Knox comes wide open, and that's where your eyes should be first, too. That's your primary target. That deep cross is an alert. I'm not alerting that unless I love the matchup, and initially it was Stingley, so I'm off that. I'm working Knox, get the first down, get out of bounds. You might even score, and I know they had an offensive PI, but regardless, you make the right play, you get the PI, you still give yourself another chance. So I can't put it all on Josh Allen. You talk about the sacks. He did hold the football too long. That goes back to wanting to be Superman, to find those big-time plays. But I also got to give credit. I don't want to talk about blame. I got to give credit. That Texans defense right now is legit. I watched the film, and I'm like, where do you attack these guys? There's nowhere to gain an advantage when you're the opposing offense. They just do everything so well. They don't give up explosive plays. They don't give you a lot in the run game. It's tough to push the ball down the field. And we talked about Will Anderson and how well he played. The sacks were awesome, 2.5. That pass rush. The play of the game for me was that tip ball on 3rd and 1 when he tried to get it to Shedeur. Because if they complete that, had one guy that maybe could have made the tackle, at least the first down, he might have scored. But the fact that he had the ability to get up and tip that football was huge. So, again, it's tough for me to put it on Josh Allen. I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. I'm not fully out, but you're out, TJ. I see you shaking your head, man. They got to get some things figured out.
Yeah, it's fully to blame on Josh Allen. It's fully to blame because Josh Allen is Superman, and when we see these victories from him and doing all these amazing things, he gets the cape. But when they lose in this manner, he's never the villain. It's always the supporting cast. Yeah. It's always who he doesn't have or who got injured or who's not there, right? So for me, Josh Allen, you have to get rid of the ball, right? You can't hold on to the ball. We know you're trying to make plays and, be that Superman and win the game, but sometimes you just have to rely on, your running game first and foremost. I think they got away from Cook, giving Cook the ball, right? Stay with the run. Stay with the run, and we know what the defense is. The defense has been trash all year. So to come in and say it was a defense fault for not holding Mills and keeping him out of the end zone, keeping their offense out of the end zone, has nothing to do with why they lost the game. They lost the game simply because he got sacked 8 times, and he turned the ball over twice and didn't score any touchdowns. Point blank, period. Yep. And if he's going to be Superman, he has to be Superman week in and week out. So when he's not successful, then he has to take the full brunt of that blame.
Yeah. But wouldn't you agree they wouldn't have been in the game without him? Like they had a legit shot to win the game.
They did,
right?
They had a legit shot. A couple
of those drives. That's why I said the defense gave him a chance.
Yeah, they gave him a chance.
That's all you want.
Okay.
I think you made a good point about Josh Allen, and I had this conversation with a bunch of my guys I played with in Buffalo, and it was, what are the shortcomings in the playoffs? And one of the things that I said was, it's the rhythm and timing throws. It's getting a drive started, hitting the crosser, hitting that flat route, instead of moving around and making that hero ball throw. Sometimes the offense stalls out, but he's out there running around trying to make too much happen. Now, that won him the MVP, but when you got to get the offense back on track or you're deep in a playoff game, you got to hit those rhythm to give the offense life.
When you're not playing a great offense, especially with a backup quarterback, you just got to play the field position game. Right. Like, don't take the loss of yards. Punt the ball. Let your defense go out there and maintain what they're doing. They're not great, but they can maintain, especially against a backup, and play the field position ball, run the field position game. But you're trying to make the big play every 3rd down, every passing situation. It doesn't need to be done. It doesn't.
Well, I think he's searching, too. I mean, there's nobody running wide open. There's nobody with separation. Keon Coleman's on the bench. He's in the doghouse. But even when he was playing, he wasn't getting much separation. Khalil Shakir's great, shifty, but he's a small target. Kincaid, who's another big target for him, kind of up and down with the injuries. But, I mean, he's standing back there holding the ball. But if you look at the backside of that, nobody's open. And so that's one of those things where he's forced in a hero ball, and it's worked. Those plays to Gabe Davis and a couple plays here and there. But, when you give up 8 sacks like that and you get whacked in the backfield, it's over.
To your point, too, I get what you're saying, blaming Josh Allen. And the reason I'm on board with that a little bit, too, looking at it from a bigger perspective, is sometimes the Superman plays are unnecessary. And it's like sometimes he'll make a hero play and it's like, all right, Not a lot of people can make that play in the NFL, but then sometimes he throws a chest pass from his own goal line,
He did.
which you can't even
Against the
put that in
Bucs.
the Superman
Yeah.
category. That's just a bad play.
Which he followed up with 6 touchdowns.
He did. He did.
Yeah,
That,
right, exactly.
That's
You gotta take the
good
good
and bad.
with
You
the bad
do.
with Superman.
But if he can eliminate those, it didn't hurt him against the Bucs. But if
No.
it comes down to some of those plays,
Yeah.
to where he throws a chest pass, or instead of just throwing the check down and trying to make the big time play, or taking 8 sacks against the Texans, if you can eliminate those, even without the weapons he has on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to see more production because he's capable of doing that.
Then he almost gets hurt. He was down for
Yeah,
a
he got a
while.
couple
Like,
times.
what do you
That
do
was not
then
fair.
when he's out?
He was down.
Like, you're doing
done.
all this, and you like you said, that D line and them ends are coming. Them some big boys that are very aggressive, very athletic, and very hungry to get to Josh Allen. You get hurt for any amount of games, the Buffalo Bills are done.
It's done.
Done.
Yeah.
finito. So you
So-
got to be smarter.
It was so weird. He goes down and he is writhing on the ground like
Pain.
like I
Like that
thought
happened.
something went
Yeah,
like he busted his elbow
almost
or
like
something.
a little tantrum.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh,
he
he's
just like it's over.
Yeah.
They're over.
They're
They're
over.
done. Right?
Right.
That's exactly
And-
what I was thinking.
yeah.
30 seconds pass and he sits up and then he gets up and then he trots
Yeah.
to the side. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
All that,
Where did that come from?
all that.
Yeah.
All that for that?
Just need to breathe or skip. He's tired, man.
He
He's
needs
doing
to
it all.
shake it out
You
with
know
the-
what, though? I want to, and I know we talk offense, Steven slot. You know what else deserves some credit in this game, though, is Tommy Townsend. The pinning them deep, the punter for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Texans. It's hard enough going up against that defense in the regular field, but having to go now backed up on a majority of your drives because they just keep pinning you deep, that makes it even more tough. So that's a lot of credit to the Texans special teams, and also the Bills missed an extra point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could have, you know, argue was the difference at the end of that
Okay,
game.
so you made the point that the Texans' defense is impenetrable. They give you nothing.
They don't.
But they did have one shocking breakdown to me. Our friend of show, James Cook, got loose on him and busted him
Big run,
for
yeah.
45 yards. And I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Because they don't do that.
Yeah.
And he ended up carrying it 17 times for 116, but that's counting the 45, obviously. But I do like them better when he gets 25 carries. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
let's just try to play football instead of we
I didn't
play
love
hero
the
ball,
fourth
right?
one, though,
Okay.
up the middle.
Hey,
that
that
was
defense
like,
Fourth and one
also
was messy.
Up the
also
middle,
gave
that was
up
like-
a 4th and 27 on the hook and ladder, too, that we didn't talk about yet.
Although,
That
you know what was
hook and
funny
ladder
about
on 4th
that?
and-
Everybody calls it a hook and lateral.
Or an in-cut
lateral.
ladder, yeah.
Okay, but a hook came from I don't know if this is way before your time, but it used to be called a button hook,
Yeah.
where you would literally hook back to the quarterback and you hit him for like 8 yards and he tosses backwards to somebody cutting underneath, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of a deep cross, right? The angle is kind of away from Josh Allen, and the timing required on that play has to be phenomenal. It has to be perfect,
Yep.
where you have to catch it on the fly, and he's got to be boom right there.
Yeah.
And they almost pulled on a break.
He almost
for a
did.
second.
He got
almost
the
did.
corner to
Yeah.
bite. I didn't love, and look, I know the Texans live and die by their defense. I don't love that they rushed 5 and played 1 high. I'm thinking drop 8 and play at the stick. It's 4th and 27.
Wow.
I know you live and die by that pass rush, but I was curious what you thought on that play.
I like what they did. I
You like
hate
them
when
being aggressive
teams
there?
sit back
Okay.
when they've been getting to the quarterback all game, and in the most crucial time, they sit back and drop everyone.
Right.
It usually doesn't work out well.
4th and 27.
I know, but that pressure package, I
Yeah,
mean, you
you
can
don't
rush
have to
4 and
blitz.
get after him. You
Exactly.
put another body in there, you
Yeah.
make him go 5 on 5 and get
Yeah.
after him.
That's
But
very
yeah,
true.
Kinsey, that was a good point. That 4th and 1 play was a disaster.
I didn't like the
That
call
was
of it. I'm
awesome.
like, we also, it was all,
Right.
we also
You-
was coming.
You're at a point in the game where you know it's going to come down to 4th down. You know you're going to be close. You have your number 1 play dialed up, ready to go. He's in the huddle in like 16, 15 seconds. He's looking to the sideline like, what are we doing? They go out there and they get absolutely stuffed. It looked bad.
Okay,
That's right.
then he went to the sideline, Josh did, and threw his helmet and
Yeah.
sat down, and again, you could read his lips. What are we doing?
Yes.
And I thought he was saying, why wasn't the ball in my hands on
Right.
4th and 1?
That's exactly
Yeah,
what
right.
That's
It was
too
exactly
much
what he was
movement,
saying.
man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too
Exactly
much
what he was
movement.
saying.
They put the corner blitz. Corner played that run game. He stood that fullback.
Hey,
Yeah.
He stood a fullback.
Lassiter he's like a linebacker to me. He just blows up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they were, that Texans defense is primed. Like, I love where the NFL is right now. We're running the ball, and a lot of teams are putting their eggs in the defensive basket. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah, speaking of that, Skip, I kind of want to dive into the Texas defense
Let's.
because they are insane. I was scared for Josh Allen. I mean, 8 sacks. I mean,
That's true.
it was so physical.
Yeah.
Even the ref gets carted off. The game was so physical. That was great.
At least he didn't get run over.
I know, he just pulled his
Yeah,
hamstring. But I'm like,
non-contact
I kept seeing everybody injured. I'm like, dang, physical game. So how far can this Texas defense
You
carry?
guys want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go. I mean, that
All right.
Houston defense, that could carry them a long
Okay.
way. Long way. You know, obviously offense in the quarterback situation will be the limiting factor, but that defense is nasty. Daniil Hunter is a stud, big, tall guy. I mean, the guy could play basketball. He's so tall and he's so explosive off the edge. Will Anderson, welcome to the NFL. I mean, this guy's been making these plays, but to actually see it and watch them just decimate that Buffalo Bills offensive line that is usually pretty good. Those guys are really good up front. They've been healthy up front. So, yeah, I mean, you look at the guys coming off the edge and then the big bodies in the middle pushing the pocket, really giving nowhere to go for the quarterback. And then the linebackers, they're flying around making plays. You got Stingley in the back end. You got the guy who made a bunch of plays last night, Bullock. And, I mean, this defense can carry them really, really far.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, anytime you could get to the quarterback, you have a chance. I like to see them, be better against the run a little bit, but they're athletic on every level. When you have athleticism on every level, and like Coach Wade used to say, you have one job, and that's to get to the ball. Everyone has different responsibilities, but it's everyone's job to get to the ball. And on every
You're talking
level.
about Wade Phillips.
Oh, Wade. What did I say? I'm sorry.
Coach Wade. It's
Coach
okay.
Wade. Oh,
No,
yeah,
it's
Coach
all right.
Wade. So the back end, they get those turnovers. They got 2 guys with 5 interceptions, and Stingley, he gets to the end zone when he makes those plays. So anytime you can score on defense and get those sacks, man, you got a chance to go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're disruptive. Like I said, watching the film last night, just trying to figure out where you can beat these guys at, and there's not a lot of areas that you can take advantage of. What impressed me the most, though, against Josh Allen, which is important too, when you play in the AFC against all these quarterbacks and you play against Lamar and Josh and all these guys, is discipline with your rush lanes. Yeah, they create a lot of pressure, but the reason that Josh was holding the ball so long when guys weren't open, because normally he's used to something opening up or getting outside of contain and being able to take off and hurt you with his legs. They had one play where Will Anderson, they had a TE stunt where they twisted inside, he got outside, picked up a big gain on that. Yeah. But outside of that, you could see him. As soon as the play wasn't there down the field, his eyes dropped. Where can I go? Everyone is disciplined in their rush lanes. Yes. There was no breathing space, and he couldn't get anything going. And then the other thing with this defense, man, they just take the ball away. They continue to take the ball away. I really like Bullock. I like Stingley. They're finding ways to make up for some of the deficiencies on offense. They bailed Davis Mills out a couple times. And Davis Mills, to his credit, didn't turn the ball over, but they easily should have had 2 or 3 more touchdowns if he hit some of those big-time plays. But, yeah, when it comes down to this defense, absolutely think they can carry them into the playoffs. And if you look at their record, they go at Indy, at KC, Arizona, Las Vegas at home, and they go at the Chargers and then Indy again. I don't know if they catch the Colts, but they play them twice. And those division games count as 2, so they could, but they're 6-5 right now. I think they can win at least 4 of those games to get to 10-7, and I think they do sneak into a wild card spot.
Okay, so even though I'm picking Oregon against your Trojans,
come on,
I got to give your Trojans this. I had not recognized Kalen Bullock yet. I hadn't said, oh, he's a guy. He can really.
He's a guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's a guy. And last night, Thursday Night Football solo stage, he took the game over. So he gets 2 picks. He forces the fumble on Shakir, the punch out.
That was a big play.
Big play. And he actually picked 6 the first interception. And there was the stupid, just a ridiculous. I think it was like a vengeance block or something. I think he had to score to settle or something. I don't know, but he was going to score anyway, and it was a running back score where he was making people miss everywhere. Like it was highly impressive, even though it got called back. So I'm going to give your ex-Trojan big props. Because you want to talk about back-ending a great unit. Woo.
Yes.
Okay. Now I need him Saturday too. He needs to go back to SC.
Oh, they're going to need him.
But he was a monster at SC.
He was, man.
Man, he's stepping into his own, man.
From the SC days. I remember the first game I watched. They're like, keep an eye on number 7. This was back 2022, I think.
Okay, but who's your coordinator? Alex Grinch, right?
At SC?
Yeah.
No, he's gone now.
I know, but when Bullock was there. Okay, he's the Grinch who stole defense, right? Because he was with my Sooners at Oklahoma, and I'm just closing my eyes. So I couldn't read any credibility to anybody I saw in your defense because it was pretty horrible, right? By by former
No, it was.
FC
It was. No,
standards.
100%. And then now you got Danton Lynn. We're starting to get a little bit better.
You're getting better.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
great.
Yeah.
All right, now allow me to say this, and I'm going to take my stand again on this. Once again, I watch a defensive end. This one's name is Will Anderson Jr., and he's just a stud where he's better than Micah Parsons. He just is.
I was thinking that.
Okay,
last year.
seriously,
Yeah.
every time I watch him, he's got bend, he's got explosive athletic ability where he's got slither to him, and he's nasty coming off the edge.
Yeah.
Just flat out,
Relentless.
I'm going to kill you. I'm going to, not that he wants to kill Josh Allen, but he wants to
he
get
was
him.
thinking that.
I know,
He
I
was
got it.
thinking that.
Severely
I got
injure him.
But that's the mentality. That's the body language. I'm watching him. I watched Micah for 4 years, and I couldn't see that. I saw explosive. I saw quickness. I saw speed that you've probably never seen in a pass rusher before in Micah Parsons. But it always goes straight upfield past the quarterback. There aren't enough pressures where you actually get your hands, you bend into the quarterback, and you're about to knock the ball out. 3 or 4 times he almost knocked the ball out just bending, right? That elasticity, I don't know. This guy he's the killer, but the other guy, the basketball player,
the
is
big
really
dude,
good
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So when you got him coming both ways and you got
Yes.
corner blitzes,
Yes.
so there's no doubt the defense can carry. But the answer to this question is, it's going to be how far the offense takes
Right,
them.
that's what it
because remember was it a Thursday night game where they were at Seattle? We came back in the next day. It was a Thursday night game where Houston was at Seattle.
Yes,
right?
and the offensive line was terrible.
It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah,
they
they were
couldn't
bad.
block anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they've fixed all that. I don't know, but I don't know what's wrong with CJ, because usually you don't stay in concussion protocol this long.
Right.
Because he cost me a dinner to Akeem, because remember
Yes,
he
he
got
did.
knocked out. And here came Davis Mills, and I got to give it up to Davis Mills because he was horrible against Denver that day. But that was tough sledding, man. You get thrown into that fire.
Yeah.
But he's won 3 in a row since, and he starts off horrible last night, 1 for his first 8, and as you said, he was just missing throws where you're like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Right? And then all of a sudden, he made a few throws.
Yeah, he did.
And he made enough throws to win the game.
And he protected the football.
He protected
And
it.
Josh didn't. That
He
was
didn't.
the big
Okay,
difference
that's
in that
it.
game.
And that's what usually tells the tale
Yeah.
in all these games. So I'm still not exactly sold on the offense.
Okay.
But the defense, I mean, can they win the AFC just with defense? I don't think so. Because at some point, there's going to be a Josh Allen where you're going to have to outscore him. He's going to make more plays than Davis Mills.
I don't know, Skip, this defense, man, they're not giving up. They're not giving up a lot of points. And if Akeem was sitting here, I could just hear him saying the first thing I look at is the defense. If I don't trust the defense,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're a contender.
Yeah.
I trust this defense as much as any other defense in the NFL right now. I mean, they can get it done in many different ways, and they proved last night against Josh Allen what they can do to one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and the reigning MVP. So who says they can't continue to do that if they go on a run in the AFC? But I'm with you. Is it going to come down to a shootout at one point where you are off a little bit, or the opposing team game plans well against your defense, and now you got to go put up 30 in that game? Is your offense capable of doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, but I like CJ Stroud. I like Nico Collins. I just don't think they're connecting right now. So I think if they get back to
Because they weren't
form, there's
connecting
some
when he
hope.
was healthy.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, they weren't flowing when he was healthy.
But
Exactly.
last year, Nico Collins was a machine.
lights
He
out.
was on. So I'm like, there's something they can. There's hope there. It's not like they don't have pieces
The
that
biggest
can work.
piece to that is going to be Nick Caley, their first-year offensive coordinator. I was with Nick in New England.
Oh,
like
were
him
you?
a lot.
Yeah.
Great person.
Wow.
This is his first year as offensive coordinator. Can he continue to find a rhythm? I know it's been tough with the injuries and now Davis Mills and Stroud out. But if he can get in a rhythm with this offense, and remember, you just got to get hot at the right time.
Get hot, yeah.
If they can get hot towards the end of the season and get things going.
December,
What is
January.
consistent is defense. Offenses go up and down.
Yeah.
But when you have a defense and they're only giving up 16, 18 points a game, that goes throughout the season.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you might have a game where Josh Allen scores 6 touchdowns. Then you have a game where he takes 8 sacks and you can't beat Mills and the Texans. So I trust defense way more than I trust the offense. And getting into a shootout doesn't worry me. My defense can stop a shootout. We haven't given up 30 points all year. We're not going to give up 30 points in the playoffs. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So your quarterback, your receivers, everything better be on point from your offense. Your offensive line, the play calling, everything has to go right if you want to go into a playoff game expecting to win in a shootout. But if I know if I go into a playoff game and my defense is playing sound defense, we got a chance to win. We probably are going to win.
I think the one big, I agree, Skip, the limiting factor for them is the offense. And then if we look at it, it's the offensive line. They played in that Seattle game up there, and they got blasted. They couldn't convert it.
Seattle is
see what they
insane
did.
right now.
But Seattle's defense is good, right? But they were blowing them up. They couldn't get anything done. Now they come in versus a Bills front who's down a couple bodies on the inside. They're supposed to be able to run the ball, and I still see guys hanging off blocks. I still see guys running in there free. This is a game where they said, hey, Buffalo's not stopping the run very well. They're not tackling very well. We need to establish the run, and it was like in spurts here and there. Sometimes they got it going. They got a little chunk here. So, I mean, the offensive line literally is going to hold back that entire
If you give a bad offense more opportunities with a good defense, you got a shot. Like you said, Davis Mills was out there missing everything early. But he kept getting opportunities because of the defense. What Buffalo has is an undisciplined defense.
Yes.
I was infuriated watching the defense, especially in the red zone. They're letting guys get inside when they shouldn't get inside. They're running up on play action. It's like, you're not going to win anything like that. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, you better get 6 touchdowns from your quarterback.
Old school NFL, you win by defense and running the football, controlling the clock. Defense getting you stops, hand it to that back, and run him downhill 25 times a game, and then take your shots when you know you have a chance.
You know, Rich, you like to go forward.
Yeah, that's right. To your point, remember, Tampa goes for 202 against Buffalo at Buffalo, and last night Houston ran for only 108 yards. So that's pretty pathetic against that defense, which is second worst at stopping the run. So you're not even showing me, even though it's another USC kid, and I like him, but he wasn't exactly running wild last night.
No, he wasn't.
When you have the backup QB in, you gotta lean on the offensive line up front. Tampa just gashed them. I know they were game planning this week, and they said, listen, we got to get the run game going. And it worked. 108 yards is passable, but it was drips and drabs. It wasn't big runs.
Yeah, and by the way, Cody, you are sitting in a Keeb seat today.
I am sitting in a Keeb.
So before this show's over, I need at least one MF from you. Do we have one? Please, one.
You got big shoes to fill.
Man, I don't know.
Can you do it?
I'll see if I can drop one.
Motherfucker!
I'll have Richie say it for me. I'll work one in.
You got it, Cody. Loosen up. All right, so the guys are kind of on the same page that the defense wins games. And so there's hope for the Texans, but let's flip the script and talk about a team that their defense clearly struggled all year long, but a little bit of hope because the AFC North right now still up for grabs, right? You got the Steelers at the top, but close behind the Ravens, and the Bengals are only 3 games behind the Steelers. And Joe Burrow is back to full participant this week. So question marks on if he's going to start this weekend. Probably unlikely, but it hasn't been confirmed. But Cody, my question for you, though, is obviously this defense is terrible. Is it worth it to rush Joe Burrow and get him back? Is it worth it?
I went back and forth on this so many times last night as I was doing my prep because part of me says, yes, play him. If he's healthy, if he's medically cleared, get him out there. He's
He
your
makes $50
franchise
million a year.
quarterback.
Get him in there.
But the other part of me is why risk the injury? Do you even have a realistic shot? Because Joe Burrow doesn't play defense. He's not going to come back and fix that defense. And a good quarterback can spark your defense and give you more belief. But at the end of the day, there's deficiencies on that defense that I don't even think Joe Burrow and his leadership can fix. But with that being said, if they are going to bring him back, it has to be this week. If you're going to make that decision, you have to bring him back this week if he's cleared, because you're 3-7 right now.
But do you even think it's the Patriots? It's going to be a tough game either way.
So that's the thing. If they lose this week without Joe Burrow, then I don't think you bring him back. I don't think that'll drop them to 3-8. Even if they go on a run and win 6 in a row, I don't think 9-8 gets you into the playoffs. But if you bring him back this week and he somehow can find a way to win 7 in a row. They have a 1% chance right now to get to the playoffs. That's what their prediction is. But if he can win 7 games in a row, that puts you at 10-7. Since the NFL has gone to a 17-game schedule, the last 2 years, 10 games has been the cutoff to get into the AFC playoffs. Miami got in at 9-8 the first year they did it. I don't think 9-8 this year, though, gets you in. I think 10 wins gets you in. So if you bring them in, it's got to be right now so they can at least try to go on this run. And remember, last year, they were 4-7, then they lose to Pittsburgh, go to 4-8, and then they win 5 in a row. So I know he wasn't injured last year, but they had a similar situation to where they win 5 in a row. Again, 9-8 didn't get them in, but they were the last team on the bubble that didn't make the cut. But if he does come back, the reason I'm hesitant is because this is not the most ideal situation. You're without Jamar Chase. You're playing a top 5 defense who's number 1 at stopping the run. You can't run the ball. Your run game's been non-existent. You're 30th in rushing offense. And then on top of that, you have to try to find a way to do it all yourself. Joe Flacco's thrown the ball over 40 times in the last for the last 5 games. You're going to have Joe Burrow come back from injury and say, hey, you're going to have to throw it 40 times in this football game to try to go win it on your shoulders, because you know the defense is going to give up at least 33 like they've done all year. And then the other side of that too.
But Joe Burrow can do that.
He
and
can,
he can turn the ball over less than Flacco.
It's tough. It's tough. And I'm not trying to limit Joe Burrow, but it's tough going 8 weeks without any football activity, maybe threw the ball, you know, in the indoor and doing some stuff like that. But going 8 weeks without practice and then trying to just go back in and play against the Patriots and find a way to win the game. And then 4 days later, you have to play against Baltimore as well. It's tough. I mean, you have 2 games in 4 days. It's hard enough to recover when you're healthy, let alone coming back from an injury. So with all that being said, though, you know who doesn't give a shit about all the things I just said? Is Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Because if he's medically cleared, I don't know him personally, but I followed him throughout his career since he's been at LSU, the interviews, the leadership that he has, the things that his teammates say about him. If he's medically cleared and he feels good enough to go, I promise you he's going to do everything in his power to be out there. So it's tough for me to say throw him out there with this situation that's coming up, and is it even going to matter with the defense? But at the end of the day, if he's your franchise guy, he's cleared, I think you do it. If you do it, you got to do it this week.
You know, I would exercise some caution here with him because he's coming off a pretty brutal injury.
Yeah.
It's a lower leg injury. It's a toe. Like Cody said, he's going to have to come back and throw the ball 40 times a game behind an already leaky offensive line. No Jamar Chase, no run game. So look at it as, yeah, he's a franchise guy. I want him in there. I want him making plays, but you need to look long-term here. You need to look at the future. And Joe Burrow has a ton of major injuries. Yeah. So is he risking major injury to go out there with a 1% chance? You know, that's where it kind of comes down to, okay, where are we at in the season? What are we doing? And is Zach Taylor coaching for his job? Is Zach putting Joe in there to save his job? So I would exercise some caution, especially playing the Patriots, then have to go play the Ravens on Thursday night. You know, it's now or never, but got to be cautious.
What do you think?
I don't think you look at the possibility of getting in the playoffs. I think you got to look at the possibility of winning the Super Bowl. If you don't have that chance, then he doesn't need to come back. Because even if you get in the playoffs, what are your chances of advancing with this bracket in the AFC? Like, realistically, right? You have a brand new sports car, and just because it's ready to run don't mean you pull it out in the rain. And it's raining in Cincy. It's hailing.
It's
that is a good
snowing.
You don't do that. And it's not the injury turf toe in itself. Have you ever had turf toe?
Yeah, it's a bitch.
You don't never get rid of turf toe.
No.
I still have turf toe.
Yeah, my toe
it never
still
goes
hurts.
away. So that's something. I don't know if it's his plant foot when he throws the ball or not, but either way, man, it's not something you can just go out there and not treat gingerly. He's going to be ginger, whether he's 100% healthy or not. It's going to be ginger. He's probably going to have to play with a plate in his cleat. And it's going to be forever. So you do not want that lingering into next season. Let's get right. Like you said, Jamar Chase is out. They have a tough schedule coming up with the Patriots, who are playing top level right now. Yep. Baltimore is improving. Their defense is improving. And then you have to go in and battle Lamar Jackson. Like, nah, man. Let's sit him down, get him ready for next season. And, you know, that sports car will be ready to run in the summer.
That makes all the sense in the world. And by the way, your Bengals are so bad on defense that if you could just hang in and keep losing, you might get a pretty good defensive player pretty high in the draft. Right? So that's what makes sense to me. And to your point, I was talking to Akib the other day. He said post-retirement, he got stem cell injections in both of his big toes because they bothered him so much. So he was still having turf toe after he.
That turf toe.
Yeah, turf toe is for life.
I had a vet tell me before I got turf toe.
Yeah.
He had turf toe as a receiver, Demetrius Williams, I played with in high school and college and in the league a little bit. He said, man, you don't never want to get this turf toe. It's going to live with you forever. I got it the next year. Every time it just comes out of nowhere, I think of him and I'm like, you jinxed me.
Exactly. You gave me turf toe.
What are you doing? But yeah.
Okay, now to your question. I read last night that at the end of practice yesterday, T. Higgins said, I looked over at Joe and he gave me one of those little looks, that smirk look, like we got this, like here we go. I believe he is going to play because he wants to play.
Yeah. He's
and
that kind of
I
guy.
believe that he is looking at this schedule saying, this AFC is still wide open. Right now, as we speak, the Vegas favorite to win the AFC is the Indianapolis Colts. And I like the Colts and I respect them, and I'm not saying I would fear them. I get it, but Joe Burrow doesn't fear Daniel Jones. He doesn't fear how Lamar is still struggling at quarterback for the arch rival Ravens. And he's looking at this saying, hold on, even without Jamar for this game, if we can figure out how to beat New England, and he thinks he could beat New England with one hand tied behind his back, that's his mentality, that's just the way he's put together. Then they go to Baltimore on Thursday night. If they could go get that one, then they go to Buffalo, and he's watching, obviously, last night saying, we could do this. This is the guy who went to Kansas City in an AFC Championship game and beat Mahomes. This is the guy who went to Buffalo and outdueled Josh Allen mano to mano, right? And then they get Baltimore at home, and that's the next 4. And those are hard games, but he's saying we could win those 4, and then they get to close with at Miami, Arizona, and Cleveland at home. And he's saying if we could get on a streak here and win these next 4, we can definitely win the last 3. And if we did somehow get to 10-7, would that get in? Now, to your point, could they go win the Super Bowl? Well, it's fairly doubtful. But don't tell that to this guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to
Because-
keep us from ourselves.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, 100%.
You're like,
Yeah, you
park that
we
car
can
in
do
the garage.
Joe thinks he can do it, but
I
can he really
got
do it?
you. But this guy leads the league in swagger, in moxie,
Swag.
he leads the league in white guy cool. Am I right?
Joe
Am I
guy.
right?
Cool, yeah.
Okay, he just does. And because of that, I've always said when he was healthy, he's the best. He's the best to me. And yet, it's weird because he plays fearlessly, but he doesn't have like what I would call like a man body, like a big stout Roethlisberger or even Mahomes kind of, or Josh Allen kind of body.
Yeah.
Because those guys can take incredible punishment.
Yes.
Josh jumped up last night like, I'm good. Oh, you are? Oh, okay. Well, Joe doesn't always jump up, man.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, because now I'm looking, he's out of a possible 93 starts, he started 71. So he's had 3 pretty big injuries that have derailed him and cost him 22 possible games. Okay, I got all that, but because Akib and I picked the Bengals to win it all, I'm like, maybe
In the beginning of the year.
We've come a
In the
long
beginning,
way.
it's been
I know we've come a long way from there, but he got off to a fine start. He didn't put up big numbers, but they won their first 2
2,
games,
which is huge for them.
And they're still kind of just hanging on to those 2. And then they've blown 2 games, like ridiculous.
different
Where-
conversation.
would it be a different conversation? But you know, and I know, right now he's thinking, watch this. Just watch this. And I get you, he hadn't played, but if anybody can do it, this guy could do it just with T. Higgins and Yosavash or whoever he's.
Yeah, I mean, you only lose Jamar for 1 game.
Yeah,
so
one
it's
game.
not like he's out the
Yeah.
rest of the season.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say this, though, and this might be a wild take, but I think if you do start him and say it doesn't go well, and he doesn't play well the first game, second game, and you become mathematically eliminated
Okay.
from the playoffs,
That's fine.
Oh, get
at
him out
that
of there.
point, I think
Yeah,
you
you
get
gotta
him
get
out
him
of
out.
there
Yeah,
and
100%.
protect him from himself. But if there's
Okay.
still a 1% chance,
Yeah.
he's your franchise guy, and he's medically cleared. That's the important part of this. If he's medically cleared and the doctors say you're good to go on our end, then why the hell not go out there?
Okay.
There's still a
I would
chance.
say
That's
if-
my whole point.
If your division wasn't in shambles, but
Yeah.
it's in shambles right now, and the Steelers have a
Or
tough
if you,
schedule.
even this division aside, with the AFC, you still have a chance to go
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
a wild card.
Yeah.
And yeah, they still could win the AFC. Sure, I think the Ravens are going to find a way to win it. But at the end of the day, if they're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, I don't have
Hey,
any
wouldn't you
problem with them
agree
going
as
out
you
there.
set back and you look at the scope of the AFC? Nobody's just, you can argue, if Akib were there, he'd be going crazy because he'd say, Bo Nix is taking the league.
Yeah.
over, okay? And you could-
It is what it is.
Okay, I got it. And you're a big Bronco also. But still, Joe Burrow's looking at Bo Nix saying, you know,
not in the same category,
I'm
yeah.
not.
I don't think it's the disbelief in Burrow. It's the disbelief in that defense.
You think that defense-
Burrow can go out and light the scoreboard up, but their defense is going to give up just as many points.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
they are atrocious.
But last year, TJ, they were 25th in scoring defense and 25th in total defense, and they won 5 in a row at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And he almost dragged them and willed them into the playoffs. They were one
did.
game out.
Yeah.
And that defense was
is
just as
better
bad
or worse
last
than
year.
last year?
The defense?
I'd say it's worse.
They're worse.
Yeah,
now.
like the
statistically
eye
it's
test,
worse, but
they're
it's
worse.
when you're bottom 25, you're bad. You're bad.
You're bad.
Them bottom
You're
five.
giving up 30 a game
6.
regardless.
Yeah.
They're a little bit worse.
You're bad. You're bad. It's
I'll bring it back to the offensive line. It all starts up front with the
does.
big boys, right?
Yeah.
And they are a porous offensive line.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor likes to get all these guys out on a route, so he leaves those guys 5-on-5. You leave those guys 5-on-5, there is a ton of penetration, there's a ton of movement. Joe's a great athlete, but he's not going to elude out of the pocket. He's not going to escape and make throws downfield. So you have a guy with a toe that sucks. I did my turf toe at the end of a season, didn't get any treatment on it. I came back in the spring and we were running half gassers. I was like, oh shit! Oh my God! I should have probably had someone look at that.
Okay, but remember, he did immediately say surgery. So he had it fixed. Brock Purdy didn't have his fixed, right?
And that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Having it fixed,
Okay.
going in there, now you have other inflammation, you have everything
I got
pooling in there, and it's the foot. Getting stuff to come out of that foot, and so it's a range of motion type thing. He's very limited mobily.
Yeah.
Can he elude the rush? And then you have the guys up front who can't protect him. So to me, it's a recipe for disaster. I agree with you. There's a 1% chance. You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
We're going to go on a run. But yeah, I mean,
And
it looks like the next 2 weeks they're going to pick up at least 1 or 2 losses here and then.
Your best defensive player also is doubtful this weekend. So Trey Hendrickson is probably not going to play this weekend, which is, if he was going to play, I'd be like a little more hope.
They need more ponies.
They
And
need
what's
more
New
points.
England? Aren't they 5-0 on the road? I think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, New England's a
They're
juggernaut
on.
right now. They play good team ball.
Okay. Well, if Joe plays, I got the Bengals.
Okay, let's go, Skip.
All right.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
go,
Give
Skip.
me your money now.
A little bit of hope for the Bengals. Okay, let's move on to another quarterback that is talk of the town right now because he's finally starting this weekend. And Cody said since day one, you need to get the reps. You always talk about being a quarterback. You need to get the rep with the ones. And that was our excuse last week on Shedeur's performance. So he got the reps with the ones. He's starting against the Raiders. Skip.
Yeah.
Will the Browns win? What's the score?
Okay, remember, the Raiders are favored to win this game, believe it or not.
They
by
are?
3.5
Yeah.
points. Yeah.
No.
This is coming from an ex-Raider.
As
He
an
played for the
ex-Raider,
Raiders.
No, not happening.
I'm going to say this again. Shedeur Sanders was born and raised for this moment. This will be his moment. He will seize this opportunity the best he can seize it under the circumstances, and they've been much better this week because obviously for the first time he got practice reps with the ones, with the starters. And for the first time, he'll get to operate a game plan that will be tailored to what he is most comfortable running. Where I hope Tommy Reese is going to him
I do
saying,
too.
"Do you like this? Or what? Tell me what you
Yeah.
like."
I'm going to tell you exactly what I hope they do in a second. I watched a lot of Shedeur
All right.
last night.
Cool. You're
Hey, I went back to college days.
Incredible, Cody.
Hey,
You're going to see from Shedeur poise and command. You will see no fear. You'll see no flinch. You'll see no nervous feet. You'll see body language that will be contagious for everybody on that football team. That defense will rise and shine. I believe that Myles Garrett will have 3 more sacks on Geno. That may be 4.
5.
Yeah,
I'd give him 5.
But I'm being conservative with 3. And the Cleveland Browns will win this game. I'm going to call it 27-13 Cleveland.
Wow.
And I got Shedeur playing very solid quarterback football where you look at it and say, that was a football game. I got 23 of 33 for 235, 2 touchdowns. I'm going to say 1 interception just because this is his first NFL start. And I believe he'll run for another 50 yards because I think his mobility is being very underestimated. And I think Judkins will run for 120-ish, and that they'll feature that, and lean on that pretty hard. 27-13, Shedeur's team.
Wow. That's a big day. I mean, he pulls all that off. I mean, he's the truth.
Yeah.
I think it's a great matchup coming against the Raiders. The Raiders are absolutely terrible. They look bad. The defense is bad. The offense is bad. Geno's bad. So for Shedeur to be cast into the spotlight, to get a week of reps is huge for him.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this kid and what he can show. I think, it's probably going to be a conservative game plan. Hand the ball to Judkins, let him feast on that defense. Get the run game going so that they can get the play action game going. And where he's really good is ball placement. He's really good about placing the ball.
He is.
He's really good about, moving enough around in the pocket to give himself space to make a throw down the field. I just want to see him no hero ball, no Superman, no S on your chest. I like him to go for around 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got to limit the turnovers. That's going to be the one thing against him. If he throws a turnover, everybody's going to be like, up there. That we saw it. We were telling you about it. But I like him having a solid day. I like Judkins having a great day. That defense is going to feast all over that offensive line. And Geno, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I got Cleveland 17, Raiders 10.
Okay.
That would be ideal. Limit him to under 25 passes and run the ball. Give Judkins the ball 25. That would be ideal, but we know the Browns don't do ideal. They're going to come out like they've been, throwing it 35-plus times. And I don't think that puts them in the best situation to be successful. Like, you have to bring him in slowly, methodically, no matter how much aura he has, no matter how his skill set is. We know he's a baller, but you have to make the offense favorable. And the Browns haven't done that all year. They got in the game against Pittsburgh and threw it 52 times with Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Like, you're putting your rookie quarterbacks in these type of failing situations. And I just hope they don't do that with Shedeur. Ideally, I hope he goes 16 for 23 for about 220 or something, right?
Okay.
A passing touchdown, let Judkins get 2 touchdowns rushing the ball. I say 24-12 versus the Raiders. That would be my score. But I think they're going to throw him in there. They're going to throw it 35 times, right? So he may be 20 for 35. He may be, but the Raiders' defense is awful. So let's just put it, and their offensive line is awful. Let's put it on our defense, ideally.
And that defense is nasty. They are good.
Yeah,
they fly around. They make plays. You got Myles Garrett. He's a stud.
And that's why I really like the Browns in this game, is because of that defense, and even when you look at the Raiders' offense right now, Geno Smith has been struggling. He leads the league in interceptions, tied with Tua. I like Ashton Genty. I'm big on him. I think he's going to be a good player in the future.
They don't use him.
He's had no chance.
They don't use him.
He has no chance. He's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage more so than anybody else in the NFL right now. And he's also third in forced missed tackles, so he creates a little bit for himself, but they can't get anything going. Chip Kelly, to me, has just been one of the biggest disappointments when it comes to coaches in the NFL. He's a great college coach, but just for some reason it hasn't transitioned to the NFL as a play caller. And when you don't have continuity and you don't have consistency and you don't have an identity on offense because your play caller hasn't found one yet, it's tough to get anything going. The offensive line is struggling, and now you got Myles Garrett coming to town ready to go for maybe 5 sacks like Richie said. But obviously everyone's going to be focused on the other side of the ball, and that is Shedeur Sanders making his first start in the NFL. I'm excited. We're going to see a couple things. I anticipate to see him make some rookie mistakes early on. He's going to have some growing pains. It's inevitable. It happens to every quarterback that plays in the league. But I'm with you, Skip. The one thing you will see is a kid that's fearless. He's not going to be out there wide-eyed and worried about making a mistake. He's going to be confident. He's going to be calm, cool, and collected in the pocket. And it's just going to come down to, can he execute the game plan? Talking about the game plan, I would love for them to get Judkins going. Get the run game going.
Get him going.
Nothing is more important for a rookie quarterback or a backup quarterback or a guy that's making his first start than a run game in your defense. If you can run the football well, you take all of that pressure off of the quarterback to try to put drives together. And they've done a good job getting Judkins going as of late, but I expect them to get him going early on. Even some swing routes. It doesn't have to be a straight handoff. Get some extended handoffs, as we call them, a swing route, a screen, a quick little pitch to him. Get a wide receiver motion and get a little soft toss so you get a completion, and then you can pick up some yards, get him into the flow of the game. Other thing I expect to see is some quick game. Get the ball out of his hands. He's extremely accurate around the line of scrimmage.
He is.
Some people say, dink and dunk. To me, no, that's efficiency. That's throwing a hitch, throwing a slant. At least in the first quarter, first half, get some of those things going early on, build confidence. That also is going to frustrate Max Crosby. If you start getting the ball out quick, he's not going to be able to get home. But when it comes to what I want to see Tommy Rees do for Shedeur Sanders, they got to work towards his strengths. And one of his biggest strengths is pushing the ball down the field. Last year in college, he was 29 of 44 with shots down the field. That's 66%. That is extremely difficult to do when you're taking those shots down the field. He's one of the most accurate passers in college last year at taking shots down the field. The other thing I would love to see him do is target the sideline. He's so accurate outside the numbers when he's working to the boundary. 75% completion percentage when he's targeting the sideline. Get some one-on-ones on the backside. Get some hitches, some comebacks, some out routes, some stop routes, some timing now routes. Get those things, work the sideline, and then attack the middle of the field when you start getting some cover two and they have to cloud the boundary. And then the other thing, move him out of the pocket. Don't let him sit back there and go 3-step, 5-step, 7-step all game long. Keep him in the same spot and let Max Crosby pin his ears back and get after him. Get him outside of the pocket, get him on the move, let him roll out. With all that being said, though, I think he's going to have a good day. I think it's going to be around 68% completion percentage. He's extremely accurate. I'm with you guys. I think right around 230. I'm going to give him one passing touchdown. I think Judkins has one or two more on the ground. I think they end up winning 23-17 in this game.
Really? Okay. Any picks? Maybe one?
I don't think he's going to. No, I don't. I think he might, if he does, it's because he's being aggressive. I think they're going to maybe take some shots down the field, and there could be an interception here and there. But I think his game is be efficient, protect the football, don't put the ball in harm's way, and just take those shots when they are available. High risk, low reward type plays until you get your shots down the field. And I think he's going to protect the football.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cleveland should call you up because that's
I'm going to say, hey,
I know.
you need to go call the play.
I'm telling you, I know you guys laugh, man, but I last night I was watching cut-ups of Shedeur from college. And
really?
What does he do well? Attacks middle field well, but where he really excels, outside throws, working the sideline. 29 of 44 taking shots down the field. That's extremely impressive. I'll take a 50-50 down the field completion percentage. 66% taking shots. That's impressive. He threw the ball 477 times last year, Skip, and still had a 74% completion percentage.
Wow.
It led the,
That is
didn't it lead
unheard
the
of.
nation.
That's
I
a big-
think it did.
Unheard of.
Those shots, come off of play action. Though. This is NFL a little bit different than college. So
It is.
we have to get to the running game. We see Caleb Williams mature this season. Why?
Run
Because they
game.
become the best running game in the NFL.
Yeah.
And if
Their
you want
offensive
them
line
shots
is
down,
better.
as well. If you want them shots downfield, you have to at least give the illusion. You don't even have to be successful all the time. But just, hey, they may run.
Yeah.
They may. Just keep the defense guessing. And then, like you say, you slow Crosby down because he can't stop the run. Well, opposed to what Lee
Wrecking
said.
it.
He definitely can't stop the run.
Lee got some hot water.
Yeah. So, just keep them guessing. Slow that pass rush down because the last thing you want them to do is have Crosby pinning his ears back knowing it's a pass.
And when you do take those shots, though, it can't be 5-man pass pro. It can't even be 6-man. You might have to leave a tight end in.
Oh, for sure.
You might
Yeah.
have to go 12 personnel, get 2 tight ends in, let them block on the outside, give him time, make sure you have 2 guys on Crosby because you can't just go 5-man pass pro and try to run scissors and throw a deep post every time.
No,
You're
you
going to
gotta-
be
yeah.
having. It's going to be tough for you to step into those throws. The other thing, too, I want to see in this game, get him some mirrored route concepts. Don't have him sitting back there going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going full field progression and sitting in the pocket for 3 or 4 seconds. Get some hook flats. Get some sticks and some hitches on the outside so that he's picking a side. When I say mirror route concepts, I mean 2x2, same thing on either side. Work away from safety rotation, or if it's man-to-man, picks-backs matchup, I go 1 to 2 to back to run, throw away. Keep it simple early on. Then if you want to get more creative and take some shots down the field, just let him get comfortable in the game plan first.
Okay, let me go one other direction with Shedeur. I know his father well, know a lot about this young man. He is his own young man. He follows a different beat than a lot of quarterbacks have followed. And he does impulsively what he believes at the moment is correct. So at the end of last week's game, in which he got thrown into the fire in the second half, he had a last-ditch drive that we broke down, as you know, and threw one great ball to an undrafted free agent that I thought should have been caught for a touchdown that would have changed the whole narrative about him because the numbers were awful, obviously, 4 of 16. But when the game ended, Shedeur sat on the bench and would not get up, dropped his head, and he was furious with himself and with the outcome of the game, as he so eloquently stated in the locker room to the media after the game. But he did not get up and shake anybody's hand. So the great Doug Williams, do you guys remember the great Doug, first
absolutely.
black quarterback, obviously, to win a Super Bowl, a man I know very well, was asked by ESPN to comment on that behavior. And this is what Doug Williams told ESPN. The game is over, go shake the guy's hand, and he meant Lamar's hand. Just go shake Lamar's hand. You can go sulk back in the locker room. People will say, well, that's a little thing. Okay, but when you play quarterback in this league, everything is watched. With this kid, under a microscope,
Yes.
it will be watched and dissected and criticized. So I'm curious what you guys think. Was that breaking the unwritten rule? Should he have gotten up as a kid quarterback, a rookie quarterback, and just gone and shaken some hands or whatever? It's just the expected sportsmanship. I don't know if you guys believe in it.
I mean, I honestly don't care. I think he's a young kid. He was thrown into a hard spot. And the thing about playing this game is this game constantly humbles you. Constantly reminding you that, hey, if you slow down a step, this game's going to pass you by, right? And I think these kids are wired a little different. Back when Doug Williams was playing, it was about honor, respect, sports, sportsmanship.
So we've lost all that.
No,
right?
we haven't.
Some would, I think.
Yeah, I think somewhat. We haven't lost it totally, but these kids are wired different. They
are.
think different. They're wired different.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
And I think, him sitting there just kind of taking it all in, I think it's a great learning opportunity.
Yeah.
I think it's a great learning opportunity for him just to sit there and be like, I had envisioned this going a completely different way. This was a shit show. Now, okay, it's my time to start. Let me get the starter reps all week. Let me learn the offense.
Okay.
Let me work with the offensive coordinator. Let me show you what I can do, what I like. And, shaking hands after the game. There were many games that I lost, and I just took off. I left my friends on the field, shaking hands, this or that. But, as a competitor, when you lose like that, fuck it. I'm going to the locker room. I don't want to talk to anyone.
All due respect, you're not the leader of it's the quarterback position, right? You're looked at as the
That's why the camera's
representation,
on,
right?
Yeah.
You have to go shake your Lamar's hand.
You just do.
You just have to.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
it's nothing to really harp on him too much about. He's a young kid. He'll learn.
Understand.
He's so poised in his interviews and giving acknowledgement to other players and respect to other
He
players.
does.
So we knew it wasn't in a malicious manner. He was more disappointed in his performance. I get it. We've all been there. But in that same time, being an adult, now you have to look at yourself. You are the starting quarterback, and you represent the Browns as a starting quarterback. You represent the NFL. You represent everything that position means. So go show Lamar some respect. Shake his hand. You ain't got to shake everybody's hand.
Right.
No.
But show Lamar MVP,
Right.
that guy, some respect, shake his hand. And not saying he was disrespectful, but just shake his hand,
I think the thought process and how these kids think different, like Shedeur came in, I'm the backup. I'm the backup. I'm not the guy, right? I'm the backup, right?
I don't think he ever thinks like that, though.
But you throw him into the wolves, you throw him into the fire, and he's like, holy shit, man, what did I just get myself into, right? So you got to take a second over there to think about it. Now, after the fact, I bet you he said, I wish I would have went and shake Lamar's hand.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm not reading too much into that.
Yeah, nah, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with TJ 100%. Should he have done it? Sure, but the intent behind it matters too. He didn't do it in a disrespectful way where he was like, I agree. I think he's sitting there in that moment thinking, what just happened? I've been anticipating this moment for so long, getting an opportunity in the NFL. It just happened. Did it go how I wanted it to? No. But at the same time, being a competitor, he's sitting there probably trying to figure out what I can fix and take this moment in and remember this feeling because I don't want to feel this again.
Exactly.
I want to do it right next time. And that's why I always said, some people gave me a hard time saying I don't mind him being number 3 instead of number 2 because you don't want that to be your first opportunity because first impressions matter, no matter how we want to shape it and say it and word it and all these different things. And especially it matters to him. He wants to go out there and prove that he can be the guy, which I know he can be, but to go out there and have that performance and not put your best foot forward because of the difficult situation you're in, that's just a competitor to him on the sideline saying, I know I'm better than what just happened.
As you well know, the post-game camera lingers on the coach congratulating the other coach and the quarterback
Always.
hugging the other quarterback,
Yeah.
right?
Always.
Right.
It's just, it's how the quote-unquote game is played off the field.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll wrap this up with one other point that might or might not motivate Shedeur. He was very close with Tom Brady, especially through his high school and college days. Tom served as a mentor of his, texting mentor, sometimes hands-on their mentor. And all I know is I think Tom has serious input into what the Raiders do.
Yes.
And the Raiders passed on Shedeur 7 times before Cleveland took him. And you can't tell me that Tom wasn't asked his opinion of Shedeur Sanders and almost certainly said no because he probably doesn't love the way Shedeur handles some things, such as a couple of interviews he did at the Combine with a couple of teams that Shedeur just didn't want to play for, and he's just honest to a fault. He's painfully honest, and he told 2 teams, I'm sorry, I'm wasting my time here because I don't want to play for you. I'm better than you are. I'm going to go higher than where you pick. And obviously, that word got out, and that had a lot to do with him falling to the 5th round. So if I'm Shedeur, I'm thinking Brady is a significant owner and almost operator over here with these Raiders. So I'm going to take this to heart. I'm going to be a little more motivated to stick it to this team because I'm going to show Tom what he's missing. That's just me.
No, I think that's a great motivating factor because Tom did have a close connection with him, and he is calling the shots. The Raiders are idiots, and they went with Geno Smith, and so they had their starter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a great matchup against him. Stick it to Tom, stick it to the Raiders, and then the Raiders team is just in shambles. So
I'll say this: if I'm Shedeur, I'm thinking that about all the other 31
Okay,
teams that
well, you
passed
can
me
do it.
multiple
Yeah,
times
every
too. I'm
team.
taking that mindset
Yeah.
as he should into every single damn
But this
game
is a
I
little
play.
personal.
Do you think that though, Skip? I just have a tough time. You know, obviously we're not going to know what's happening behind closed doors. But you have John Spytek in there for the first time. You have Pete Carroll, who's a legend in the coaching area. Just you think they came in and said, "All right, Tom, you have a lot of control over who we draft." I find it hard to believe that relationship that he's had with Shedeur, he's going to sit there and say, "I don't want him."
He was quoted before the draft as saying, "We'd be fools not to get his opinion on what we're doing in this draft."
right, he has major input there. I mean,
Yeah.
he is. Mr. Davis is one. He's 1A.
Yeah.
He's calling a lot of shots there, and the close personal relationship he has with Shedeur, they could have saved him. He went in the 5th round. They obviously need some help at quarterback because our backup's Aiden O'Connell, and we've seen
That's why. What if Shedeur were your backup right now as the
Indeed.
heir
Oh,
apparent?
yeah, like this,
and I don't.
They would be calling. I mean, they would be calling for Shedeur to play right now.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody else, so it's Geno.
Yeah, and I don't disagree that I think the Raiders should have taken him. I didn't think they should have taken him at 6.
Okay, but
after that,
fine.
I on record pre-draft on some of the shows I did said I think Raiders would be a perfect landing spot for Shedeur if they draft him in the draft or he somehow falls out of the 1st round. And I was disappointed. My question was just, do you really think that was Tom Brady saying, "Don't take him"?
Okay, remember the previous Monday night game, he's up in the booth.
He's
with
got
the
the headset on. Yeah.
But you got Pete Carroll, you got Spytek, you got Davis,
you got
you got
big
other people
names.
in there. It's just
Yeah, but Brady's calling the shots. I mean, Brady.
Think so?
I know so. Brady is.
Wow.
Brady is running the show, and I know that Mr. Davis is running a lot of stuff by him. He has a close personal relationship with Spytek. Goes back to Michigan.
Yeah.
They won a
Does.
Super Bowl together in
They
Tampa.
did. Yep.
So I do think that there is some
Bingo.
credence to Tom passing on him several times because they could have wasted a 4th, or they could have spent a 4th, or they could have spent a 5th. I mean, you look at the Raiders draft class right now. Besides Ashton Genty, none of them are playing. We have one receiver who played, Jack Besh, who plays a little bit.
He plays a little bit.
He plays a little bit.
Kid,
Yeah.
We have 2 third-round offensive linemen that have played 1 snap this season, and look how bad that offensive line is. So I mean, it goes back to Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's offense is not translating to the NFL. It is a complete mess. We have a workhorse in Ashton Genty. Need to feed him the ball. Everyone's saying, well, the offensive line is bad up front. To get the offensive line in the game, you have to run the ball. You have to go downhill at these guys. You have to dictate the tempo of the game. If you have guys backing up and you're dropping back 35, 40 times with Geno Smith, it's not going to work. And Chip, in his infinite wisdom, thinks that we cannot run the ball and still get play action to work. You were talking about it before. You have to threaten them a little bit with the run and get your play action going. We're running play action out of the shotgun. We're putting it in Geno's hands, and Geno is turning it over left and right. So I think Chip Kelly, his issue is he thinks he's smarter than everybody, and he's going to let you know that he's smarter than everybody. But in the NFL, there's a lot of smart guys, and there's a lot of great players. So this bullshit offense that he was running is not working.
Nope.
And Chip needs to look himself in the mirror and ask himself about the personnel decisions they've made, the offensive line that they've trotted out there.
Yep.
We have our right guard go down, a 2nd-round pick, Jackson Powers-Johnson, and they're pulling him in and out of the lineup. He's our 2nd-best offensive lineman next to Colton Miller. So a highly touted Oregon guy, right? Remington Award winner. This guy is the best center in the nation. He's a 2nd-round pick. So let's put him at right guard and have him rotate with Alex Kappa, who is the worst pass-blocking guard in the NFL. Now, Jackson Powers goes down. What are we going to do? We're going to start 2 undrafted free agents, Will Putnam and Jordan Meredith, undersized guys, and we're not going to play our 3rd-round picks. We have 2 third-round studs that we've had. So I'll wrap this up. I think there's a lot of funk around the Raiders organization right now, and those fingers need to be pointed at Chip Kelly. Because that defense is good enough for them to win.
Well,
No run game, play action out of shotgun, running reverses and all this stuff. It's a mess. It's a mess.
So what intrigues me is you played in Miami and Buffalo and obviously with the Rams, and yet your heart's with the Raiders.
It is.
You speak as if they're your home.
They are.
Right?
No, they really are, because I got there. Gruden talked me out of retirement to come play for the Raiders in 2019. I got there, and Gruden got there in 18. I got there in 19. They brought me in to influence the young offensive line. And they brought me in because I'm a big body up front. So we went Colton Miller, me, Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson, Trent Brown. That's a big-ass offensive line.
Ooh.
That is a big offensive line.
Because Trent Brown is like
Trent Brown's
huge.
massive. He's massive, right? You have Gabe 360, you have Rodney Hudson 320. I'm playing at 330. Colton Miller 6'7", 330. And I feel like that's home to me because I got there. Max Crosby was a rookie. Josh Jacobs was a rookie. We had some young players that are still there now. And I played there in Oakland. I played the last season in Oakland. I played 2 years in Las Vegas. Mr. Davis was gracious and kind enough to let me retire a Las Vegas Raider. And up until starting the show, I worked with the Raiders. I consulted, I went up, I did rookie programming, I've coached in training camp for them. So I'm very, very close to the program, and I'm very passionate about the program.
You are.
And I just don't like what I see. And I don't like what I see on offense. I think Patrick Graham and the defense can win. I just think that the offense isn't living up to the standard, and they're not changing anything. I don't see them turning around and handing Ashton Genty the ball 25 times.
No.
Yeah.
People, the O-line, the O-line, the O-line. John Madden has a great quote about the offensive line. If you want to get the big guys going up front, hand the ball off. Get them going downhill. As offensive linemen, I like getting downhill, getting aggressive, getting after these guys, getting into the rhythm of the game. With Chip Kelly in this offense, they hand it to Genty on just some base vanilla runs. They get stuffed. And okay, now it's Geno Smith time. And now we have
Genty only carried, was it 6 times for
6
7
times.
yards? For 7?
6 times.
Okay. And they'd swing it to him like 6 times, right?
Exactly, yeah. So we used the 6 overall pick. We didn't draft an offensive lineman.
No.
But now we're going to give the guy 6 touches, and we're going to throw the ball out of the backfield. I mean, it's a
Build him the ball anymore, you're gonna get your first round draft pick hurt with that offensive line.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
that's-
You can't.
right.
can't risk
But
that.
he's a big physical thumper. His thing is he gets downhill and he'll bounce off a couple guys, right? And that's contagious. You know, those first runs when you're a run-heavy team, those first couple runs aren't going to hit. It's going to be 2 yards. It's going to be 3 yards. It's going to be 4 yards. But that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the fourth quarter when guys are tired, you're subbing guys in and out,
Yeah.
you're going up and down the field. Turn around and hand the ball to your guy. Play the right guys up front, hand the ball to your guy, and see what happens. Because they're playing like complete shit. They have zero identity, and you have Chip Kelly up there like, I'm the smartest man, I'm this, that, and the other, and it's just not vibing with the guys. He is rubbing the locker room the entire wrong way.
All right. Well, Richie is calling out Chip Kelly, and all of the guys in the arena have the Browns this weekend, and the chat is riding with Shedeur and the Browns. 75% of the chat says that Shedeur will win this game. So little
No
hope for the
surprise.
Browns because we haven't had this hope at all with Dylan Gabriel. But let's talk a little bit about your Cowboys.
Let's.
Because we saw a little glimmer of hope with them last week, but we did have the 2-star wideouts bonding. They were brothers last weekend at the casinos of Las Vegas until 7 a.m., really hitting it off. And so somebody said that CeeDee was like throwing up at 7 a.m. Apparently, CeeDee replied to that and said, I wasn't because I can handle my liquor.
Hey.
So he's like, I was partying.
That was the important part.
He's
Hello.
like,
To
no,
address
I was
that
partying,
first.
but I could handle it.
Yeah.
So, TJ, I do want to know, though, how do you feel? CeeDee and Pickens, how do you feel about them breaking curfew? Is that a big deal?
Man, it's not a big deal. Not one time. If it continues, it's a
Yeah.
big deal. But, man, your dog players are going to do things like that.
Yes.
Because that's the mentality. If you're a dog on the field, you're a dog off the field.
Yeah.
And I love the camaraderie, right?
Yeah.
They're together at least,
Bonding.
right? We in this thing together. We live together. We live together. What do you say?
Yeah.
We ride together. We die together.
Yeah.
Bad boys for life, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
When I was in Cleveland, I was out with my boys, the team, missed the whole Saturday walkthrough. Missed the whole Saturday.
Wait, you stayed out?
Yeah, I know. I overslept.
Oh, you overslept. Okay.
Over intoxicated.
Okay.
But I missed the walkthrough. I came in there with Browns on 3. I'm like, oh shit, practice is over. But I went out there and I had a great game. And sometimes
You
it
didn't
takes
get
that pressure.
disciplined at all?
No, I didn't get disciplined. He said, Coach said, I was thinking about suspending you. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, but we suck and you need me. But, I went out there.
Which coach was it?
At this time, I believe it was Pat Shermer.
Okay.
Yeah, we had Pat Shermer. Sherm dog.
Okay.
So I went out there and I'm like, yo, I gotta kill today, right?
Yeah.
And I did. And it's just a mentality. Like sometimes you make mistakes having that mentality, but they were together. That camaraderie is getting built. And it's showing up on the field on Sunday. Like, Pickens had 144 yards, right?
did.
CeeDee didn't have a great game, but he's
No, but
okay
it
with
was-
playing second
Yeah.
fiddle
Yeah.
because this is my dog. And that's what you need to build a great team and build a championship team. We
Yep.
talk about it all the time. The best part of our Denver team was our relationship off the field. We were like this. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 guys. It was 20 guys, right? Hanging out, maybe staying late, maybe, missing a couple meetings or being late. But in missing those meetings, there was other guys stepping like, hey, don't do that no more. You have to be accountable for your teammates, and we were accountable for each other. I bet it doesn't happen again, but, it just can't become a cycle. One time, no problem. Go out there and ball, make up for it, come back ready, be a pro next week.
I mean, I love it. I love the boys were together in Vegas. The dogs are out.
Right.
It's in the grand scheme of things, yeah. I mean, on the team level, it matters. You can't have your star players out like that. They were disciplined. They moved on. They learned from it. But I love to see the 2 dogs out, man, because people don't realize, when you're a dog in the NFL, you got to have that mentality going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. You got to bring it in the weight room. You got to bring it on the practice field. You got to bring it on Sundays. So sometimes the boys need to blow off a little steam, and there's no place like Vegas, baby. I lived there for a couple years.
Is that why you love the Raiders?
That's why I love the Raiders too. Las Vegas, man. Whatever you want, it's 1 phone call away. So I love that the boys were together, and I love that they got the win. So Vegas ain't for everybody, but it's. I think it's a fun story.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. I'll say why I don't love it, though, and probably why Dak didn't love it, because he didn't have his 2 guys out there to start the game.
That is
so
correct.
the quarterback on that team, Prescott, was probably like, wait a minute. But yeah, I mean, like you said, they're together. They're going out there. They're doing things together. I will say this, though. The reason I didn't love it initially is because these are your 2-star players, and you're 3-5-1 right now. It's not like everything's going great and we're playing great this year and we're 8-1 and everything's going the right way, or 9-1. If they would have came out and played bad and lost that game, then we'd probably be having a different conversation. But it didn't happen, and that's an if world. And what's Akib always say? If my aunt had, if I won't finish it, but he always says that. And
Honing your Akib. There we go.
Yeah, I'm getting a little
First
Akib
you got
there.
to
it is.
now you just
But,
got to get MF out.
But with that being said, yeah, as long as it doesn't continue to happen, as long as this is just a one-time thing, and CeeDee Lamb hasn't really ever had off-field things going on, but Pickens, on the other hand, and I'm not trying to knock on him, but in Pittsburgh, he had a tough time having, issues off the field. He kept,
That's why
late
he's
to, I think he was late
coaching.
to a game against
He
Kansas
was.
City at one point.
Yep.
Tomlin kind of called him out personally.
He kept saying he's got to grow up, and he finally said he's not growing up.
Yeah, so that for me is that's the only issue I have, is it just can't continue to linger and become a bigger problem. But no, I'm with you guys. Right now, they went out and won the game. They played well. They both stepped up. I don't think it was that big of a deal.
Okay. So the stories I could tell about Cowboy teams I covered going way back into the past on violating curfew and things that happen on the floor of the hotel the night
The
before,
90s Cowboys.
especially Monday night games. We're in Minnesota. I don't know if you guys remember Tony Dorsett's 99-yard run on Monday Night Football. It's way before your time. But after that game, I'm in the locker room. Butch Johnson, I believe it was, pulled me aside and said, what was going on our floor last night, you would not, involving females, obviously. No females on, no,
Yeah.
everybody. Okay.
Those boys were wild back
Wild,
in the day, man. They had the White
Okay,
House
so
going.
I get all that. Then Jimmy Johnson came in, took over, and he would let Michael Irvin and company, it's play hard, party hard, but you have to be on time. If you miss the flight, you will not play. And we had a couple of those, and we had a couple of issues where, and Jimmy would say, well, if it's Michael or Troy or Emmett, obviously I'm going to be a little more lenient. But my point is, to all your points, you can't make a habit of this, because if everybody thinks everybody can get away with it, it'll go crazy and you'll lose all discipline on the football field.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on the biggest point of this was that incredibly to me, and I said this on Tuesday, that CeeDee Lamb has accepted George Pickens to the point that he's arm around him. They're going to be partners in crime, right? We're going to go out together. We're going to go down together. We're going to get suspended together, or at least for a series. I can't, he to me, CeeDee going into this year was the best receiver in pro football. And I love it. We're about to get into him and what he didn't do against Philly in the opener. But the point is, he not only accepted George Pickens, he has like crowned him as the number one.
Yeah.
It's not like he doesn't try to play it off like, well, he's my 1A. No, he's my equal. Yeah. I can't believe it, but that gives me hope that when you have them playing off each other, and CeeDee didn't seem at all upset that Pick had 140 yards. It doesn't bother him a bit.
Yeah.
As long as we win, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you
Better
can.
than
That can take you places.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
that's what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CeeDee's got his road dog, man.
Yeah.
You got to have a guy, another alpha type mentality, a guy that goes out there and kills. So I love it. It's not all on CeeDee now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got George, and hopefully that opens up some things in the offense for CeeDee. But yeah, man, you get two killers together like that.
Ooh.
Like that's all you need. That energy is contagious.
Usually with the diva receivers, there's a little resentment, a
Yeah.
little
Oh, yeah.
threat.
Jealous.
You're a little
Yeah, I
threat
think-
to me,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
Not
As long
this-
as we winning games, though, like you said, take those double teams off of me. I'm gonna get my shot. You gonna get your shots, and we gonna win games.
Ooh.
And we both gonna have decent numbers, right? 76 yards is not, or 66 yards is not terrible.
Yeah.
No,
It should have been 2 touchdowns, too. That drop he had on 4th down.
he did.
Well, I mean, he gotta catch the ball. He's dropping
Definitely catch
passes.
that was a
You gotta
walk
catch
in.
the ball.
Here we
Way
go
too
again.
many.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, quickly, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, SeatGeek, because everyone can use our code Gridiron10 and get 10% off your SeatGeek order, whether you are a new customer or not. Sports, concert, festivals, you name it. The Lakers are back in action, so a lot of people have been looking on SeatGeek for the best deals. The LA Rams are on fire right now with a big Sunday night football game this weekend, so SeatGeek has the plug on some of the best seats. So SeatGeek rates the tickets 1 to 10. If it has a green dot, it's a good deal. If it's a red dot, it's bad, okay? So no matter how many times you bought tickets using SeatGeek before, you can use our code Gridiron10 to get 10% off your order. So take out your phone right now and open the SeatGeek app and add code Gridiron10 to your account. Okay, so continuing on your Cowboys.
Yeah.
Your Cowboys are playing the Eagles again, and it was a close game last
was.
time. So, but right now the Eagles, in the locker room, they kind of feel like Hurts is gun shy, not making the throws into tight windows, prioritizing not making mistakes, and limiting their ability to make explosive plays.
Yep.
So, Cody, how much truth is there in the reported criticism on Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I mean, there's some truth there when you look at this offense. Now, I've been a big advocate of putting the blame on Kevin Patullo this year, and I still stand there.
I do, too.
And I still believe that. When you watch this offense, I think it's just too vanilla, and it's too predictable right now, and they don't seem like they ever just get in a flow in these games. But when you're 25th in total offense and you're 28th in passing offense, there's obviously going to be some fingers pointed at your quarterback. It starts at the top. But with that being said, the reason I don't think it's that big of a deal is because of the type of leader that Jalen Hurts is. It doesn't matter if he plays great in a game, if he plays bad in a game, if they win, if they lose, whatever's happening, he stays the same and he stays consistent. And he never gets too high, he never gets too low. I always tell young quarterbacks, football is a game of emotions, and especially at quarterback, you're going to have a lot of highs, you're going to have a lot of lows. But regardless of what happens, I need you to stay in the middle. If you throw a touchdown, celebrate real quick. By the time you get to the sideline, you're back same. If you throw a pick, get to the sideline, look at the tablet, get back to being level-headed. Good game, bad game, whatever it is, I need you to stay the same. And Jalen Hurts does that. But he also doesn't get a lot of credit. He's been playing some damn good football. Since 2022, he's 45-12 as a starter. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won one of them. He outdueled Mahomes. He won a Super Bowl MVP. So far this year, too, quietly, he has 22 total touchdowns and only 1 interception. He has the best touchdown to INT ratio on the team. You can win a lot of games like that, especially when your defense is playing how they are. That's super important. And then the other thing with all of that is he handles the personalities well. Talked about A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith. Doesn't have his eyes in the right spot, doesn't have great eye discipline. He's hesitant to let the ball go. His footwork is off a little bit, but he's still going to make a number of plays in the game to do what he has to do to win games. So, yeah, I'm not going to say that there should be a lot of criticism right now on Jalen Hurts.
You want to go?
Yeah, so when they started off so poorly, right? Going into the season, Philadelphia juggernaut, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the offensive line, the defense. When they started out a little slowly, I reached out to a source close to the program in Philly, and that's when the murmurs were starting. It's on the quarterback. It's him patting the ball. It's him not making the throws that are there. Now we fast forward to this point in the season. They've had success. They're riding that defense. They're 8-2. But now an insider has come out and said pretty much the same thing, that there's some murmurs coming out of the organization that Jalen's holding the ball. He's patting the ball. He's not getting the ball out. And the frustration is growing within A.J. Brown and the entire offense because they go in and watch film and they're watching all the plays he's not making. The throws are there. He's just not making them. Is it fair to put it all on him? No. But his play has definitely come down from last year in that Super Bowl. And now what I'm hearing from insiders is what I heard in Week 3. I got to give some credence to it. I think that where there's smoke, there's fire here. They're 8-2. It's hard to pick them apart. But my thing with them is the offense disappears for stretches of games. 2 quarters here, 3 quarters there. Can't get Saquon going. Then they have a game where A.J. Brown goes gangbusters, Devontae goes gangbusters, and then it's like, why can't we get to this consistency over time?
But to that point, Richie, last year, if you look at the numbers, they were worse statistically in their passing offense. They were 29th last year in passing offense. This year, they're 28th. Not a big jump, but they still had some of the same issues.
Saquon Barkley.
But what was the... So now he gets a little bit more amplified with his mistakes because he doesn't have Saquon to take over the run game. So
and Lane Johnson been hurt. You know, their offensive line isn't blocking as well.
No, I agree. I agree.
There, right?
It's the run game's the totality of everything.
This team is obviously built on the run and defense. Like, you know, it's no surprise. So the murmurs and the anonymous, and put your name on it. Put your name on it. I'll be so sick of these anonymous sources and murmurs and whispers. If you a man, speak loudly.
Okay, I'll put a name on it. A.J.
I'm about to say.
That's the murmur. And guess what?
Exactly.
Opposed to what we were talking about, the Cowboys just win and get ball games. They're 3-5, but their receivers have found a mentality that say, hey, we can continue to win like this. Let's be happy. A.J. Brown, you just won a Super Bowl.
I know.
You mad because you're not getting the ball? Okay, relax. Go somewhere else. If that's the case. But you cannot be in the locker room downing and feeding into the media questions and acting like that, bro. Like, that's what women do. No offense. That's what women do. Grown men don't do that. If you have a problem, your coach, you go inside. You don't let that stuff out. And Jalen Hurts has been the same quarterback. He's the same quarterback.
He is.
And I say it all the time on Safety First. Be Jalen Hurts and you can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Be Jalen Hurts. You know what Bo Nix is doing? He's being Jalen Hurts. You know what Daniels would like to do is be Jalen Hurts and he'll be healthy. Be Jalen Hurts and you can win a Super Bowl. Rely on your defense to go and stop these teams. Run the ball. Now, the RPO, like we get to, they don't run it as much as they were running last year. Right. So that's taking away some of I think Jalen Hurts, that was the best part of his game, is keeping their linebackers up, not knowing if he's going to run or pass, and it being an obvious throw for him. Now, he is missing a couple obvious throws. That's okay.
No, he is.
But at the end of the day, we're 8-2. We're at top of the NFC. We're at top of the division. What more do you want from me? What do you want from me? Like Tyree said. But, hey, everything's going to be all right in Philly. We just got to get that noise and those little murmurs. And A.J. Brown, you got to stop acting like that. You got to stop, man. You just relax a little bit, and your time will come. There will be a time where you'll break out. But now, you making the quarterback, man, I don't want to give you the ball. Right. I don't care if you butt naked open. I'm not throwing it to you because you acting ungrateful, and I don't like this. You talking bad about me in so many ways. You get on the game, and you're talking about, like, the team, and you're just becoming a distraction, man. You're not going to win another championship with players in the locker room like that. That's point blank, period.
Well said. Agreed. I'm with all you guys, and yet I've been sold on Jalen Hurts since he played for Oklahoma, even back to Alabama days. I was sold on him. Coach's kid, high football IQ, just knows how to win football games. And the day Howie Roseman stole him in the second round of the draft, I immediately tweeted, Jalen Hurts will change life in Philadelphia. And this is when Carson Wentz was riding high. Carson Wentz, as I used to call him, because I would wince when I watched him drop back. And look, the criticism is that Jalen Hurts will not force balls into tight windows. And that's bad? That's wrong? Really? Okay. That's the essence of your Superman Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Because Clark Kent will say, no, that window's too tight. It's not worth it. He has, as we speak, are the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Right.
They're perfectly positioned until they go to Dallas on Sunday. But they're perfectly,
Who are you picking?
yeah, we'll get to that right now. But they are perfectly positioned right now to do what they've been doing and what I fear they're going to do. And it's because Jalen Hurts, so last year he averaged 194 yards passing per game, 194. He's at 200 even right now.
Yeah.
So he's actually, to your point,
Better.
he's actually slightly better.
Yeah.
Their offensive line isn't remote. We talked about it's all about the offensive line. John Madden, let's run downhill.
Yeah.
They're running uphill. They're running nowhere. Saquon's averaging 66 yards a game. He was 125 all last year. 125. Okay, so they're 17th in rush yards because the offensive line, Cam Jurgens has been out. I don't know if he's going to be back Sunday or not, but Lane Johnson is definitely gone for a while. Okay, they lost Mekhi Becton. It's not what it used to be. It doesn't dominate the way it used to dominate, so they can't run the ball and play defense, which is what they want to do. They do have to rely on some passing game, big plays, where I saw them in the second half against the Rams when they were down 23-6 early third.
Yeah.
I saw what happened. Jalen said, watch this.
Right.
AJ, I need you now. I need you because this is how we're going to do it now. And go look at AJ's numbers in the second half of that game. I saw him go to Minnesota when I was a little skeptical because Minnesota's tough on defense. And Jalen and AJ destroyed the Vikings in Minnesota. And obviously JJ was playing quarterback, and that wasn't good. That wasn't pretty. But to me, it's all much ado about. Okay, you can't argue with success.
No.
This is the best success in the league right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody's better positioned than they are right now in their conference.
And the last time they had this situation where A.J. Brown came into the game complaining, they tried to force feed him. And what happened?
Yeah,
They lost to the Broncos at home.
they did.
So if they go into this Cowboy game trying to do the same thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to do it against Detroit a little bit, too. They were force-feeding him the football. They still got the job done
They
because of the
did.
defense,
They did.
but
And he caught 7 for 49.
yeah, it
against
wasn't
Detroit.
much. But you could tell they had a point in that game to come out and try to get 11 involved. But yeah, it's
but then even the point where when they played the Broncos, he had that deep ball where he stopped running on the
yeah,
route.
he did. Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
right.
So that's not the quarterback's fault.
No.
You stopped running. So put some blame on yourself sometimes.
And
Yeah.
by the
Take
way,
some
I do
responsibility.
remind you, going to the fourth quarter of Broncos at Eagles, the Eagles were ahead 17-3.
Yeah.
Okay. God.
Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking, oh, they're the best team, and then Bo Nix happened. Okay.
Well, you guys know that I got to get predictions for the weekend.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first? We got Eagles, Cowboys. I'm gonna need scores. Who wins? Cody, start.
I'll go first. I think with how good this Cowboys offense is right now, I
Yeah.
think this is a damn good Eagles defense. I think you're going to slow them down a little bit. They're still going to play well, but I think they're still going to put up some points. And then offensively for the Eagles, I still don't trust the Cowboys defense. I know they got some pieces back. They look better. But again, it was against the Raiders in that offense, so I can't crown them just yet. I do think the Eagles win this game 24-21.
Okay.
Eagle.
All right.
Ooh.
think it's
At least
gonna be
you're
close.
Very similar to the last
21.
game. They were 24-20.
Yeah, I'll give you 21. But you been putting up around 30, so
Yeah.
I think that for that offense, that's a compliment. That's slowing
Hey,
them down.
my defense is going to hold them to 24. That would be
Your new
huge
Quinnen.
upset. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm separated from Skip today. Usually I'm over there, and I think he's been rubbing off me because I'm getting delusional about these Cowboys.
I understand.
You and me both.
They've had to prove it to me, and Dak's been playing at such a high level, right?
Yeah.
And the defense looks better. Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark can stuff the run, and then listen, the pass rush gets going, right?
Yeah.
So they had a great showing against the Raiders, and we just spent a little bit of time on the Raiders. You guys know how I feel about
Yeah.
my Raiders, but I think the Cowboys at home get this win. I think the Cowboys are going to have a big day. I think the Cowboys put up 33 points, and I think they hold the Eagles to 30 points.
Ooh,
Okay.
shootout.
Wow.
I'm I'm rolling on. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm rolling with the Cowboys.
Oh,
too,
wow.
man. I got the Cowboys, man. I got the Cowboys 30-24, and this is why.
Woo.
They're 21-2 at home against NFC East opponents right now, right? They have these two dogs at receiver. The Eagles only have one good cornerback, and he can only guard one receiver at a time, right? That's Quinyon Mitchell. And then, like we said, the Cowboys are stopping the run a lot better with those two D tackles on the inside, and everything starts with the run, especially with Philly. So I think it's going to be a high score, 30-24, Cowboys.
Wow.
Let's go.
Love.
Here we go. I can't wait to hear what Skip
The
says.
Eagles defense is going to give up 30.
I do.
Cowboys.
I do.
I think they're going to like
At
it.
Their
AT&T,
offense
I think
on
they're on
fire.
that
At
turf.
AT&T, what happened against the Cardinals, though, a couple weeks ago?
Oh, that was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's trauma.
You know,
for Skip.
sometimes
Let's
that
not bring
happens
up
in
It's an off
trauma.
night. All right.
All right, Skip.
That man is a genius, and this man next to me is another genius.
And what am I
and
saying?
you're missing the boat. Yeah, I'm not even threatened by this. I don't even fear the fact that both of you picked the Cowboys, because you should have picked the Cowboys, because they're going to win this game. I'm not fearing jinxing it. I'm just telling you, I've thought all along they could beat Philadelphia this year.
You
and
said
I
it all
told
along,
you that they were going to go win the opener there, and they should have.
Yeah.
Just for the perspective of this, Dak in his career against Philadelphia is 9-5. At home against Philadelphia, he's 6-1. He always plays very well to extremely well against Philadelphia, but it's always in the high good category. He's 24 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, but at Philly, the reason I picked him was he was 10 touchdowns to no interceptions, and he did his part to beat them at Philadelphia. And I'm just going to refresh everybody's memory about this. The guy I had proclaimed the best receiver in football, CeeDee Lamb, one of those two dogs, played like a sorry mutt of a dog. Right?
Drops. Yeah, those drops.
Play like
He-
a poodle, but he bounced back.
If you'd give me 1,000 losing scenarios for my Cowboys at Philly in the Thursday night opener,
see that.
number 1,000 would have been CeeDee drops 4 passes, including 2 in the last 3 minutes of the game.
yeah.
And I'm going to refresh, and Cody will remember this when I talk about it. Okay, the first one is, it's 1st and 10 at the Cowboy 38 with 2:57 left. And CeeDee runs a deep post, and it's a weird, they screwed up the routes because the traffic is high
Yeah, it
traffic,
was.
okay?
Yeah.
But Quinyon is trailing CeeDee, and CeeDee has a step on a deep post. And the throw is on the button because it hits him right here. There's lots of movement around him, but this is CeeDee freaking Lamb. And if he just simply catches and cradles the football, Quinyon is falling down trying to tackle him. He might still be running as we speak with that ball, but instead he drops it and it's play over. And I'm dumbfounded that he dropped a ball that would have gotten us 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line with plenty of time left. We're down 24-20 because we kept them to only 3 points, held them to 3 points in the second half. So they jumped on us in the first half, but we kept hanging in and hanging in. Then we get to the 2-minute warning. And coming out of the 2-minute warning, it's 4th and 3. And CeeDee is in the slot and gets Cooper DeJean in the slot and takes it outside and gets a big old step on Cooper DeJean. And I thought it was a sweet throw by Dak Prescott. CeeDee left his feet, and I'm not even sure he needed to leave his feet for this
That was
one.
it was out there,
Okay,
Skip.
but-
But it's CD, to your point.
Okay,
That's
right,
the
it's
catch you
it's
expect,
CeeDee Lamb.
you expect him to make.
I went back and looked at it before the show. I think he mistimed it just a bit.
Okay.
Where if he runs through it, he's going to catch it right there.
Yeah.
But even though he left his feet, listen, this is just me. If you get 2 hands on the football and you're what I think is the best receiver
Yeah.
in football, you catch that
Come down
football
with that
Agreed.
for sure.
in that place at that moment. In that circumstance, you just make that catch because now you're going to have the ball at the 25-yard line with still plenty of time left. CeeDee Lamb owes my football team this game.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be featured and have a big game, and I know Quinyon's going to have to make a choice. Pick your poison.
right, and
okay,
that's a tough choice.
Which way are you going to go? But Adoree Jackson, speaking of another USC guy, I mean, he's the Where's Waldo on this, right? Like I'll find there. Okay, there. And you know, Dak, you pick your poison, and if it's Adoree on George, then okay, we'll try that, right?
Dory's still got some shit to him.
He does.
Man, he got some speed. You
He's
never really
a
lose
talent.
speed.
He's
but,
a talented
I mean,
guy.
Not the best in the run game right now, stepping up and filling the gap. But
you know how it goes. I know you didn't play corner, but sometimes corners just get shell-shocked and they lose their confidence if they get burned enough times.
Yeah.
And I his body language is shaky to me. Like, I'm not sure. I'm guessing wrong. I'm cluing wrong. He just looks a little. If anything's vulnerable in that defense, he's vulnerable.
Gotcha.
Okay, now to your point about the defense. It just looked different all of a sudden with Quinion because he's a real guy. He's a real force. Micah wasn't that for that defense as far as leadership or anchor goes, where you say, we got a real guy in the locker room, the huddle, and in the middle of our line with Kenny Clark. So all of a sudden, the pass rush, Jadeveon Clowney is flying around. He's starting to look like he used to look.
Yeah.
Because they got to stop that wall in the middle.
Okay. And we laughed about our Cincinnati guy, Logan Wilson. He was calling defensive signals. He's become the quarterback. Like, they had a bye week and they said, you're the quarterback. Oh, really? Okay. Because he's been there and done that. You went to the Super Bowl with him playing at a very high level. He's not a Pro Bowl player, but he's a good player. And he's a smart player. So you got that. Overshown is back. I'm telling you, he's a game wrecker, and he was flashing for me on Monday night. So I look at Monday night like it was a practice game, like a preseason game, like a dress rehearsal set up because we've got the Eagles and then the Chiefs 4 days later on Thanksgiving. 2 Super Bowl teams. Boom, boom. So here we go. And if you can win those 2 games, and I give them a real good shot to win both because I do think they'll beat the Eagles, then you're back in the saddle. Then you look and you say, okay, we got a shot. You got to keep closing the deal. But I think they revitalized their defense literally overnight over a bye week to the point I trusted. And that kid, Kalen Carson, I don't know if you noticed him, but he's a talent. And he came back. He's been out for a long time. He's a 5th rounder a year ago out of Wake. And he played every defensive snap. Well, now we got a real cornerback who's pretty talented and good and plays with supreme confidence. So all of a sudden, I'm saying we're good enough. I got it 27-24 Dallas because I do think we can put up 27 with those 2 partners in crime at our wideouts.
Well said.
Yeah, look, I'm not trying to hate on your Cowboys. But we sat on this couch before that game against the Raiders, and Skip Bayless said, I'm out and I'm picking the Raiders to win this game.
You weren't here after the game, and I said, I just called them out because I was sick and tired of picking them and having them go to Chicago and lose.
And then Richie just sat here and talked about how Chip Kelly and that offense is one of the worst in the entire NFL, but all of a sudden everybody's in now on the Cowboys defense after they play like that against the Raiders. I just didn't move the needle for me. I have to see it first before I can say they're going to beat the defending champions.
He hadn't seen Quinnen in there yet. So now after this,
but as I said, I know they watch the show, and because it's a Monday night game, they're going to see what I say and everybody else says.
Going to fire them off.
Psychology.
My point was show me. And did they ever show me?
They did. They proved you right.
Show me.
That's the reverse side.
CeeDee does owe him a big game. Those drops weren't drops in that first matchup in Philadelphia. Those weren't just drops. Those were back-breaking plays.
Backbreakers.
Those are the plays that Denver is making down the stretch in the 4th quarter. 1 catch here, 1 catch there. And that keeps you in the game.
I think we're all hanging out with Skip a little too much because I'm also going to pick the Cowboys.
We are drinking the Kool-Aid.
Too much time with Skip. I'm confused.
I got to toast Kinsey.
You talked about Quinnen and Kenny Clark. Remember,
Cheers.
That first game, who wasn't in the game also, Skip, was Jalen Carter. So he's going to be a difference maker. And Jalen Phillips was also not there also.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring up Jalen Carter off the spitting incident because I agree with you. That was a big deal.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's a great point, Cody.
That was huge.
For sure.
But Dak is playing lights out. So.
He is.
Lights out.
Dak's playing well. And
Man,
Pickens and CeeDee, man, those guys are.
And maybe they'll go out again the night before the game. Really bond.
Maybe.
Cowboys
Get
get the
back-
running
get the
game
boys
going
back
back with
together.
Williams.
They found their methods.
Yeah.
Get Williams back on track. He's playing well early.
Yeah,
He is.
exactly.
All right, let's go to a team that got smacked by the Eagles in the Super Bowl and has not missed the playoffs in 10 years. And this might be the year. So a major reason why has been their inability to win close games this year. So, Richie, Who's most to blame for the Chiefs going 12-0 in one-score games last season to being 0-5 this season?
It's tough because I love Andy Reid, I love Mahomes, and it's really hard to point a finger at those guys because they've been so great for so long. But to have that success last year, you got to get a lot of balls to bounce your way. You got to get a lot of flags. I think there's been a lot of talk about the Chiefs getting flags, and it feels like those have dried up. But it feels like there was so much talk about it, and now it's like, maybe they're not getting the call. But the offense has definitely taken a step back. Not having Richie for the first 6 games of the season, that definitely hurt. Offensive line.
He's been great since he's been back.
He's been great since he's been back. He opened up the entire offense. Xavier Worthy was down for a little bit. Pacheco's out. They're missing some dudes. But offense has regressed a little bit, and I think it's on the defensive side. When they were getting those tight ball games, that defense would come up with a big play. Nick Bolton fumble, a Chris Jones sack. So I think little luck has run out, offense has regressed, and I think it's on the defense. I think that they're playing well, but they're not making big plays like they have in the past to get them those close wins.
Yeah. I was going to say, to your point, those stripes, they're not getting
the refs.
That's what my initial thought was. Like,
they read all those articles and they were like,
I'm going to go actually football, and I'm going to say Patty. Right? He's turning the ball over. He's turning the ball over at a way higher level than he was, and they're not running the ball as well. So those two factors always starts with the run. I say that a lot. You're not running the ball well. It takes the guessing away from the opposing defense, right? We know you got to draw back and pass. And Pat threw 2 back-to-back interceptions against the Broncos. One got called back because of a penalty. He backdoored it with another one in the red zone. That's a scoring opportunity. You can't give that away. You got to at least walk away with 3. So in the same mode as Josh Allen, you get all the credit. You got to take all the blame. So Pat Mahomes, that's the guy.
Fair.
Yeah, it's interesting because this year, statistically, the Chiefs are better than they were last year in every major category on both sides of the ball. But last year, they were 9-1 at this point and 7-0 in one-score games. This year, they're 5-5 and 0-5 in one-score games. And this kind of backs up Akeem when he says, I don't give a shit about the stats. What do you do when it matters most? To that point, you're better last year statistically on both sides of the ball in every major category, but this year you have a worse record and you're not getting the job done when it matters most. I don't think there's one person to blame or one side of the ball to blame. It's that they're not playing complementary football down the stretch. Against the Chargers, offense started slow, but then they have the second half, they score on every single possession, but then defensively they give up back-to-back 74-yard touchdown drives, and then what happens? It's 3rd and 14 with the game on the line, and you give up a 19-yard run to Justin Herbert to put the game away in Brazil. The next week against the Eagles, uncharacteristic. They're driving. They're down 13-10. You have a chance to score. Mahomes is throwing a quick little flash route to Travis Kelce. A play skip we've seen hundreds of times.
We have.
What happens? Bounce off his hands, gets intercepted. They go down, score, go up by 10, never get back in the game. Against the Jags, pick 6 by Patrick Mahomes. But the defense also gets a pick. So they get him right back in it, and then Mahomes goes down and scores with 1:45 left to go up by 4, and the defense can't stop Trevor Lawrence at home. He goes 7 plays, and 60 yards, finishes in the end zone.
He didn't want to win that either.
It's back and forth. Against the Bills, 4 minutes and 38 seconds left to go. Patrick Mahomes throws an interception to Hairston in a terrible situation. Just a bad throw, uncharacteristic. You're trying to force a throw, and Maxwell makes a great play on the football, but that was a bad decision by Mahomes. And then against Denver, your defense gets you a couple stops. They give Mahomes 2 drives when it matters most to take the lead and to put the game away. What does he do? 3 and out, 3 and out. 6 plays, -3 yards total, and then the defense gives up back-to-back field goal drives. It's just they're not playing complementary football, regardless of the stats. Last year, they're making those plays in got-to-have-it situations. This year, no one's stepping up to make those plays.
And you blame who?
There's no one to put the blame on.
You got to pick somebody. You got to pick
You're
one.
saying put it on one person.
Put it on one unit. Put it on one thing.
I just told you, offense this game, defense that game, offense this game, defense. I mean, in reality, you'd say Andy Reid, but he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, and he put the blame on himself. He said, "Hey, we got to get back to fundamentals and doing the right things in those situations." But I can't pinpoint and put the blame on one. It's just the team as a whole.
I'm gonna go ahead. You want to go?
I think stats a lot of times are lies for losing. Right, you can have great stats. My best stats came with the worst teams.
That was my whole point.
Numbers crazy.
Right.
In the loss, no player of the game, no AFC player of the week. We lost.
Okay.
Stats going crazy.
All right. To Kinsey's question, who's most responsible for losing all 5 of your one-score games. Who's most to blame? This is the truth. The God's truth is it's Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. And let me explain. Patrick, over the 3 years since his MVP season, if you look hard at his stats, and I know they're for losers, well, they have been because he's eroding. He's in decline. His stats have fallen for 3 years. But everybody still proclaims him. Many people already say he's past Brady as the GOAT.
Yeah.
So last year, what started happening? Right away, everything was magical. It was like they were a Vegas magic act. They got Taylor Swift up in the box. They got the most famous wide tight end ever catching passes from Patrick Mahomes, who's better, quote unquote, than Tom Brady. And it's an escape artist act where, we got mystique. It's just oozing everywhere at Arrowhead. The football gods, they loved me because I'm Patrick Mahomes, and I got Travis Kelce, and we got Taylor Swift. And it was working because it was operating where they thought they were magic. When they needed a block kick, they blocked the kick. 12 one-score games, they won every one of them. And then what happened in the postseason? They get 2 games at home. They get the Texans at home, and they win 23-14. It was kind of ho-hum. Okay, no big deal. Then here comes Josh Allen, Superman. And what happens? They kick a field goal, the Chiefs did, with 3 minutes, 3:33 left to go up 3. And Josh faces another 4th down, sort of like last night, and he just heaves it up the middle of the football field. Threw it about as far as he could throw it. And Dalton Kincaid is right in the middle of a lot of traffic and goes down on his knees, and the ball comes down like a punt right into his hands, and he dropped it. And he's not a ball dropper to me because I watched him in college a lot. He's a big play, big catch guy, a clutch guy. Well, it's another huge break for the home team because if he catches it, they're in field goal range at least to go to overtime, and there's still 2 minutes left in the game. So I don't know, maybe Josh goes magic on them, and he pulls it out. Okay, so now they escape again, and they go to the Super Bowl against Jalen and company. And what happens? The wheels were already wobbling all year. Both back wheels were wobbling. They wobbled and wobbled, and they wobbled all the way to the Super Bowl. And both back wheels fell off. It was 40-6 Philadelphia with 3 minutes left in the game. 40-6? It was a wipeout. It was a mismatch. The Kansas City mystique, the magic act, got destroyed in the Super Bowl, and I don't think they ever recovered because they had a whole off season to lick their wounds and think, damn, we got exposed by the Eagles. We're not magic. We're just human like everybody else. We're just like everybody else. So they come into this year, and they've lost their supreme confidence. Not that they're not confident anymore, but now push comes to shove. Where's the clutch? Oh, we lost it. The Eagles took it away from us. They took our hearts and our souls and our clutch gene, and they took it all the way back to Philadelphia for the offseason. To me, they're just because in the 5 losses, to your point, it's on Patrick because he's not making plays. In the end, it's a quarterback's game. Too much credit, too much blame. Okay, but in this case, he's only thrown, on the positive side, he's only thrown 4 touchdown passes and 5 losses.
Yikes.
And the last 3 on the road, he was pretty terrible in each one of them, where you had big moments and he made bad plays. So the mystique died. That's what happened. And they are teetering along at 5-5. And listen, Indy is real to me. They are legit. And Indy's going to go in there because all the conversation I hear all week is, yeah, but it's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. They'll just snap their fingers. I don't know if you can snap and get it back. I don't know if you can just say, oh, watch this. We'll go back to last year right now because it's time. Let's go. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah, looking at that, okay, so the Colts are going to Kansas City. And a lot of people, there's still question marks on the Colts. Well, I'm riding with the Colts. I love the Colts. I love Jonathan Taylor. I think he should be MVP. I love Tyler Warren. I think their offense is just a powerhouse.
It is.
What is your game score?
My game score is going to be Colts 27, Chiefs 21. I like that they're riding the run game. I think they can get it going. I really like what Jonathan Taylor's doing. He's lighting them up. Kansas City's been vulnerable towards the run, and I just don't think that Patty and the offense can keep up with the Colts.
I agree. Cody?
Yeah, I've been riding with the Colts all season long.
I know you have.
I'm not switching up now, and
There you
I
go.
think the game changer, like you said, Kinsey, it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. He's going to come out and take over this football game. What do you have to do on the road? You got to play defense and run the football, especially late in November and when you go into December. I think JT is going to have a big day. I think the big factor on the defensive side of the ball is getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Force him to be uncomfortable. Don't let him sit in the pocket and scramble around and do what he wants to do and wait for guys to get open and do some magic play with Travis Kelce. They got 29 sacks this year, which is 8th in the NFL. They need to disrupt his timing, make him uncomfortable all game long. If they do that, I think they get the win 28-24.
Ooh, wow. You right?
No, I'm not riding with the Colts. I love the Colts and what they're doing right now. I think, they're doing some good things, but I got the Chiefs. It's really hard to go in Arrowhead and get a win, period.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very,
Tough
very
place to
hard,
play, yeah.
especially with the losses they having right now, and it's a reality check moment for that team. And I think they're going to step up to the occasion. I think Pat Mahomes is going to have one of his best games of the season. I have them 24-13. And another thing the Chiefs do well is they're pretty good against the run. They're pretty good against the run. They're not top 10, but they're right in the teens. So I think they're going to have their best game stopping the run, knowing that they have to do that against the best running back in the league. So I got the Chiefs 24-13.
I'm glad you picked the Chiefs, or we were going to have a problem here because
You don't like doing that.
it
You
would
don't
be
like
in a
doing
bad
that.
spot. This is a huge game for the Indianapolis Colts.
It is.
Even
Show us
though
who you
it's
are.
huge record-wise for the 5-5 Kansas City Chiefs in danger of missing playoffs. But the Colts are 8-2. They're first in the league in points scored. They're 9th in points allowed. So they're showing you this is legit high-level football that they've been playing all year. Did they get one of their magic act escapes against the Broncos at home? They did on a leverage play on a kick. Okay, I got that. But I think they're so legit that they're going to be the more driven team. And I think the Chiefs are still reeling like, who are we exactly? Can we? What do we need to do? Is Travis just getting a little over the hill old? Is he still that guy? I just think Indy goes in there and they all play well. I think Daniel Jones will outplay Mahomes, and obviously your running back is going to run, and I think he's going to run to put up an MVP case, and I think he will. And in the end, I think it'll be a close game, but the magic will belong to a team that came out of nowhere this year, Indy, at Arrowhead. And I think they're going to win 24-23 on some late
close
game.
one.
Yeah.
Something about them
Gritty.
dome teams. When they get outside,
It can
they
be
become a
tough.
different team. We seen in Pittsburgh what happened.
He was saying that about golf last week.
Danny Dimes thought he was sweet going to Pittsburgh. We all did, because I had the Colts. And they got beat up on.
They did.
They got beat up on. Danny Dimes lost all that confidence in his eyes.
Yeah.
And Taylor wasn't to running the ball like he runs on that turf. Like I said, Arrowhead is not easy to play. That weather, we don't know what it's going to be like, right?
Okay.
I just don't trust him outdoors, man.
It's tough.
If it was in Indy, I'll probably be rolling with him. But in
Well, it's not
Arrowhead,
like-
outdoors, everything.
It's not like Danny Dimes hadn't played outdoors before, though.
I mean, but he took a lot of losses outdoors, too.
yeah.
I think this would be a really good win for the Colts. It's a statement win. It's kind of like the win the Buffalo Bills had against the Chiefs a couple
would
weeks
be.
ago.
Yeah.
They got that win. They were at home. They got the win, and we're going to the Super Bowl. Now they dropped the next game to the Miami Dolphins, but this could be a great builder for the Colts going down the stretch. You march in to Kansas City in late November, and you walk out of there with a convincing win. You just proved to everybody in the organization, hey, we can make a run
Yep,
at this thing,
I agree.
and we can go win a Super Bowl.
Big deal.
I want to get one more prediction before we close out, because we do have the Bucs Rams this
Ooh.
weekend. The Bucs got to travel across the country. You guys always tell me on this couch how big that is. They've also caught the injury bug, and Bucky Irving is ruled out again for this game. So I need to know, boys, Bucs or Rams? Richie?
Man, I'm riding with the Rams. I'm riding with the Rams. They look good now. You go down the list: Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae. But I think the key is the Bucs gave up 44 points and 491 yards against Buffalo on the road up there.
Yeah.
Now they're coming all the way across country out here to SoFi. Rams are rolling. That defense is nasty. Bucs banged up a little bit. I think the Rams get after them. I'm going Rams 31, Bucs 17.
Ooh. Cody?
Yeah, I love Baker Mayfield just as much as Skip does. I just don't trust that defense still. And you're going up, in my opinion, against the best team in the NFL right now. I know that Matt Stafford wants to get back on track after having an up-and-down performance last week against the Seahawks. So I got the Rams going in winning 30-24.
Ooh,
you
TJ.
Man, I love Baker, and he did everything but catch the ball against the Patriots when they came to Tampa. I had them winning that game, and the injuries that they have, and this is NFL, you can't have that many injuries and be successful. So coming out here to SoFi, and it's a great home field advantage for the Rams. They're playing and they're clicking. I got them 30-13 Rams.
There we go.
Ooh,
30-13.
What does that mean for you, Skip? And you love
That means
Baker.
I love Baker. That means I look back at what just happened at SoFi, and I look at what Seattle did to the Rams. And if your man Sam Darnold hadn't thrown 4 picks, the Seahawks were much better than the Rams all day long. And I look at these numbers, 26 first downs to 12. Rams were 2 of 11 on third down. The total yards were Seattle 414 to Rams 249. What? It was 4 turnovers to 1 turnover, okay? And yet, weirdly, I lost some faith in the Rams. And I've lost no faith in Baker, even though the injuries are everywhere. And now it sounds like they've lost Jamel Dean, who's a top-rated and graded corner.
Yeah.
And he went out after a quarter at Buffalo, and I don't think he's going to be able to go because he hadn't practiced. Hope I'm wrong about that. No Bucky Irving, because I thought that would bring back a little electricity.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But they can still move the football. Baker at SoFi is 9 touchdowns to 1 interception. And he went to SoFi last year. This was against Justin Herbert, not against Matt Stafford. But if you remember that, it was 40-17 Tampa, and Baker just threw a party on Justin Herbert. And he threw for 288 and 4 touchdowns, had a QBR of 94.
Yeah.
He likes the lights there. He likes the building. It fits his eyes. Remember the first game he played there as a quick Ram where he got thrown into the fire?
It's the Raiders.
Against the Raiders, he threw a walk-off, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go Baker in a shocking upset because they're 7-point dogs, but I'm going to hang in with them just because I think they're saying at some point we got to turn it back on, because Carolina is right on their tails.
Carolina
line,
is coming.
yep.
They got 2 games left.
Two games
Keith
with
says
them.
Yeah.
The team that needs it more sometimes.
Yeah, and I just think the Bucs need it more than you think they do. And I'm going to go Bucs crazy 27-24 shootout that'll feel a little bit like Baker at Sam Darnold at Seattle, which was
Back and
38
forth.
to
Yeah,
35.
back and forth.
Yeah.
You think Stafford's going to make the big mistake at the end, or you think Baker's going to get the
No,
ball?
I think Baker's
he's
gonna
not
It's going to come down to who has the ball last type of
Yes.
situation.
Who is Baker going to throw the ball to?
A book.
Buka, yeah.
Ted Johnson's been
and he's
balling.
been slowing down.
Got
Yeah.
Shep.
Yes.
Shep, they go way
Shepard.
back. They've been playing together for a long time.
Yeah, Kate
I
Otten.
like Baker. I hate going against them, but I like the Rams a little bit more.
No, and that's the wise pick,
Yeah.
man. I mean, the smart way is to go Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 7-point favorites.
Yeah.
I know. I got to go with the Rams as well.
Okay.
But we are going to close it out here. Hope you guys have the best weekend ever. Go have some fun, watch some football, and join us back here on the couch on Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and go have a good weekend. Thank you so much.
Woo.